when the main market is in chaos, people are...
We are national.
Those in support of this motion as amended, say aye.
Aye.
We have taken it through by default.
We are international.
Israeli airstrikes.
Donald Trump left us the worst unemployment.
Signature TV, news in your pocket.
Bright and early as the day breaks, as the newspaper headlines trail the stories that shape the day. We at Signature TV trail the headlines that trail the day. We interrogate the headlines. We analyze the stories that make the headlines.
Wyatt is overrated, and they even overrated themselves and went into CBT. They are insensitive of some Nigerian children who have never had what it was CBT.
With passion and emotion, we drive the conversation to change the narrative.
Let nobody be deceived by Nigerian high level of performing in agriculture export. We are still where we are.
Newspaper review on Signature TV every morning on Signature Morning, weekdays, and Signature New Day, weekends. Newspaper review on Signature TV. We do not just review the headlines, we make the headlines relevant to our daily lives.
Signature TV, news in your pocket.
New every morning on Signature TV. We open the day for you with needed energy, information, and required vibes to shape your day. From sizzling snippets of stories in various areas of life to intriguing conversations with net worth guests.
When you have people who have no track record becoming your leaders, you have a problem. There is no outstanding gratuity when Obi took over from me. I left in all the accounts of Anambra State 13.8 billion for him.
Your day cannot be complete without Signature Morning on weekdays and Signature New Day on weekends. There is no better way to start your day except Signature Morning and Signature New Day every day on Signature TV.
Plugged into the heartbeat of entertainment on The Hub, your ultimate show on E-Vibes. From trending stories and social media drama to top charting music, must-watch movies and exciting moments from the world of arts, we've got it all. Join us for unmissable conversations with your favorite entertainment personalities.
Welcome to Global News on Signature TV. I am Christopher Lele. In the headlines, Adeleke receives certificate of return, pledges 500 million naira fund for victims of electoral violence. High River ran flood to hit 33 states in 7 days. Russia and Ukraine swap 103 prisoners of war each. And at least 23 die as bus and truck collide in Brazil's Paraná. Details in a moment.
Every second, every minute, every day, news is breaking. Events occur and there are new developments. At Signature TV, we follow these stories objectively, bringing all sides without bias, explaining the complex issues, breaking down the numbers, and investigating the issues behind the news. Anywhere and everywhere, Near or far, wherever the news is, we will be there. Signature TV. News in your pocket.
The Osun State Governor, Demola Adeleke, on Wednesday received his certificate of return from the Independent National Electoral Commission following his victory in the August 15 governorship election. The certificate was presented to Adeleke at a brief ceremony at the INEC headquarters in Osogbo by the resident electoral commissioner in charge of Osun State, Professor Kunle Ajani. Adeleke, who thanked the people of the state for renewing their mandate, said his victory was dedicated to the people who stood by him throughout the electoral process. He, however, called for sober reflection over the violence recorded during the election, which he said resulted in injuries, destruction of property, and loss of lives. The governor announced that the state government would establish a 500 million naira election violence victims endowment fund to support verified victims and families affected by the violence. Adeleke, who paid tribute to victims of electoral violence, regardless of their political affiliation, announced that a verification and relief committee chaired by the Speaker of the Osun State House of Assembly, Adewale Egbedu, would oversee the identification of verified victims and distribution of relief. The Independent National Electoral Commission says it plans to deploy about 1.4 million ad hoc personnel for the 2027 general election. The chairman of the commission, George Amopiton, made this known when he received a delegation from the International Republican Institute, led by its president, Dan Twining, for a pre-election assessment mission in Abuja. Speaking during the meeting, the INEC chairman said the personnel will be deployed across more than 176,000 polling units nationwide. He said the commission is also strengthening its logistics, expanding early deployment strategies, and improving coordination with transport unions to ensure the timely movement of election materials and personnel. Amopiton said recent off-cycle elections and legislative by-elections had served as operational tests for the Commission's electoral technology, logistics, and security arrangements. For his part, Twining said the IRI mission was aimed at supporting the competitive, peaceful, and credible electoral process in Nigeria. He said the delegation would assess INEC's preparations, identify potential challenges, and explore how the international community could support the country's democratic process. The IRI delegation is in Nigeria to assess INEC's preparedness for the 2027 elections and identify areas where international collaboration and technical support could strengthen the electoral process. Presidential candidates and leaders of political parties have signed a national peace accord ahead of the 2027 general elections, pledging to conduct issue-based campaigns and reject violence, hate speech, and personal attacks. The agreement was signed in Abuja under the auspices of the National Peace Committee in partnership with the Kuka Center ahead of the commencement of the 2027 electioneering campaign on Wednesday. The presidential candidates who attended the signing ceremony included Peter Obi of the Nigerian Democratic Congress, Peter Obi Adewale Adebayo of the Social Democratic Party, and the African Action Congress candidate Omoyele Sowore. Speaking shortly after the signing, which was witnessed by the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor George Amopiton, the NDC candidate Peter Obi urged Nigerians to punish politicians who violate their code by voting against them at the polls. Obi, who stated that politicians seeking public office must demonstrate the character expected of leaders, demanded a credible 2027 election in which the votes of Nigerians would count. The absence of some major presidential candidates include the All Progressives Congress candidate President Bola Tinubu and the African Democratic Congress candidate Atiku Abubakar was notable. Tinubu was represented by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume. Former Minister of Youth and Sports Development, Solomon Dalong, says the outcome of the Osun State governorship election has set the tone for what Nigerians would expect in the 2027 general elections. Dalong, a chieftain of the African Democratic Congress, made the statement during an interview on Wednesday. He argued that the Osun election had demonstrated that the influence of the ruling All Progressives Congress, including what he described as federal might, could be defeated at the polls. Dalong said that the election showed that incumbency and political structures do not automatically guarantee victory, noting that the presence of several APC governors, National Assembly members, and other party leaders did not prevent the party from suffering what he described as humiliating defeat. He stated that the 2027 presidential election would ultimately be about choice of Nigerians making at the ballot rather than simply a contest between President Tinubu and the opposition parties. The Minority Caucus in the House of Representatives has held a strategic meeting with the G100 delegation and opposition coalition as part of ongoing consultations among opposition stakeholders. The consultations are aimed at uniting the opposition forces to unseat President Bola Tinubu and the All Progressives Congress in the 2027 general elections. The leader of the Minority Caucus, Fred Agbedi, expressed strong support for the G100 initiative, saying the Minority Caucus had already begun its own consultations with opposition parties, presidential candidates, and their nominees to build a formidable opposition ahead of the 2027. He assured the G100 delegation that the Minority Caucus would work with it and participate in the technical committee established to advance the opposition unity agenda to salvage the country.
Nigerians are wailing, Nigerians are so frustrated, and there is no reason why as opposition voices we should not stand up for Nigerians and bring succor to them. We have also used this opportunity to decide that we call on all members of opposition, no matter the party you belong, no matter your ambition, that there is strength in unity and that the opposition should unite to ensure that we wrestle power from the APC in 2027. And finally, we affirmed the opposition summit that will be held on the 31st of August, where further details of how the opposition will work together and wrest power in 2027 will be unveiled. These are the decisions we reached in today's meeting. It was a successful meeting, and we want to assure Nigerians that we are standing with them.
Meeting, which followed an early engagement between the two groups, focused principally on the need to unite opposition political parties and build a common platform capable of challenging the ruling APC in the next presidential election. The Director General of the National Youth Service Corps, Brigadier General Olakunle Nafiu, has urged Corps members to exercise caution in the use of social media ahead of the 2027 general elections. Speaking during his working visit to the 2026 Batch B Stream 2 orientation course at the NYSC Permanent Orientation Camp in Katsina on Wednesday, Brigadier General Nafiu described Corps members as critical stakeholders in shaping Nigeria's future. He stressed that with the rapid advancement of artificial intelligence, manipulated images and videos have become increasingly common, making it imperative for young Nigerians to verify information before sharing it. The NYSC Director General noted that Nigeria is entering a sensitive political period as preparations for the 2027 general elections gathered momentum, warning Corps members to remain neutral and refrain from using their social media platforms to promote political parties or candidates. He encouraged Corps members to embrace the NYSC Skills Acquisition and Entrepreneurship Development Program, saying vocational skills have become indispensable in today's competitive economy. The Federal Account Allocation Committee says over 3 trillion naira was shared among the federal, states, and local government areas in July. The figure represents the highest allocation shared so far under the administration of President Bola Tinubu A statement issued by the Director of Public Affairs at the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation, Bowa Mokwa, said the committee met in Owerri, Imo State, on the margins of the ongoing National Council of Federation Economic Development. It disclosed that out of the total distributable revenue, the federal government received 1.14 trillion naira, state got 943 billion naira, and the local government received 674 billion naira. The sum of 243 billion, representing 13% derivation revenue, he disclosed was also shared to oil-producing states. Gross statutory revenue rose to 4.35 trillion naira in July, representing an increase of 658 billion naira, or 17.8% from 3.7 trillion naira recorded in June, while gross value-added tax revenue declined marginally to 793 naira from 799 billion naira in June. The Nigerian Hydrological Services Agency has forecast a high risk of riverine flooding in Kaduna, Niger, and 32 other states between August 19 and 25, 2026. The Director General and Chief Executive Officer of the agency, Umar Mohammed, disclosed this in the agency's latest flood advisory. Mohammed advised communities located on flood plains to relocate to safer, higher ground, while urging state and local authorities to activate early warning and emergency response measures. He noted that rising river levels could trigger flooding in several locations during the 7-day period. States listed in the forecast include Taraba, Ondo, Oyo, Rivers, Abia, Adamawa, Akwa Ibom, Anambra, Bayelsa, Benue, Borno, Cross River, and Delta. Others are Ebonyi, Edo, Enugu, Gombe, Imo, Jigawa, Nasarawa, Lagos, Ogun, Osun, Plateau, Kaduna, and Niger. Mohammed advised that states and local governments move people, livestock, and valuables from flood plains to pre-identified higher ground. Suspected Boko Haram insurgents have carried out a night attack on Gaya community in Hong local government area of Adamawa State, killing a police inspector and 7 civilians. The chairman of the Hong Local Government Council, Aliyu Saad, who confirmed the attack, said the perpetrators invaded the community at night, set 2 houses ablaze, and killed 8 people. He disclosed that the military, police, hunters, and other security agencies had been deployed to the area to search for the attackers. Spokesperson of Adamawa State Police Command, Suleiman Ngojorojo, who also confirmed the attack, said the command received a report from the area. He disclosed that 5 dead bodies were recovered, 4 civilians, and an inspector of police after the attackers left, and said the command would provide further details as more information became available. The latest attack adds to the security challenges confronting Hong Council, which has witnessed repeated attacks linked to insurgency in recent months. The Federal Competitive and Consumer Protection Commission has summoned major cement manufacturers in Nigeria as it investigates possible price manipulation in the domestic cement market. The commission said its preliminary findings showed that cement prices in Nigeria were significantly higher than in some other African countries, despite the country's large limestone deposits, substantial production capacity, and surplus supply. The investigation followed widespread complaints from consumers and businesses about the rising cost of cement, a key material in the construction sector. According to the FCCPC, the price of 50-kilogram bag of cement in Nigeria rose from about 9,300 naira in January 2026 to 13,000 naira by the middle of the year, and reached about 15,000 naira by July in some parts of the country. The Commission said it would examine possible coordination among cement producers, abuse of market power, restrictions on domestic supply, and anti-competitive distribution practices. The Executive Vice Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of the Commission, Tunji Bello, said the agency's responsibility vows to determine whether the market was functioning competitively and whether consumers were receiving the benefits of effective competition. Nigerian onion traders have resumed exports to Ghana after the National Onion Producers, Processors and Marketers Association of Nigeria lifted its suspension on onion exports to the country. The association said the decision followed renewed consultation with Nigerian and the Ghanaian authorities and other stakeholders. The suspension of onion exports was earlier imposed over difficulties faced by Nigerian traders in the Ghanaian market, particularly at the Kotoku market, which included problems with the reception, allocation, and offloading of onion consignment, as well as concerns over the safety and movement of traders. In a public notice signed by its president, Aliyu Matasamo, the association urged Nigerian exporters and transporters to operate peacefully and comply with trade regulation, customs procedures, phytosanitary requirements, ECOWAS rules, and the African Continental Free Trade Area. The association also called on stakeholders in Ghana to ensure the safe reception, fair market access, and uninterrupted offloading of legitimate Nigerian and Nigerian onion consignments. Still to come, Iran's armed forces warned Gulf countries against assisting U.S. military, and sacked Ukrainian defense minister calls for presidential election. Stay with us.
Signature TV, news in your pocket.
Russia and Ukraine have exchanged 103 prisoners of war each. Another swap expected before the end of the month. Officials from both sides said on Wednesday that Kyiv and Moscow have carried out regular prisoner exchanges throughout the war that started with Russia's invasion of Ukraine in 2022. President Volodymyr Zelensky said on Telegram that the Ukrainians brought home included servicemen from the armed forces, the State Border Guard Service, and the National Guard. Dmytro, 29, a Ukrainian who was a prisoner for the 3 years, told newsmen that he has not done anything heroic and does not consider himself special. Another Ukrainian serviceman handing home after 28 months, Anton, 43, recalled his time in captivity, saying the most they received were letters from relatives. At least 9 people, including 5 Bangladeshi nationals, were killed in a fire at a hotel in India's eastern city of Kolkata on Wednesday. Local police and Bangladesh's foreign ministry said the fire broke out at around 2:50 a.m. on the second floor of the hotel building and was brought under control within an hour. An official said a child was among those killed in the blaze, which may have been triggered by an electrical short circuit. Bangladesh's foreign ministry revealed that 4 of the 5 Bangladeshis killed were from the same family, while 6 more of its nationals were injured but were discharged after receiving first aid. Kaushik Chowdhury, the fire minister of West Bengal, state of which Kolkata is the capital, said around 80 people were rescued. Chief Minister Suvendu said in a post on X that a 5-member team has been formed to conduct a comprehensive inquiry into the incident. At least 23 people died in a head-on collision between a bus and a truck in Brazil's southern state of Paraná in the early hours of Wednesday. A federal highway police said in a statement that 5 others were injured when the vehicles crashed around 3 a.m. The statement added that most of those killed were on the bus and that the truck driver also died. Police said that the bus involved in the accident belonged to the Imbituwa Municipal Health Department and was heading to hospitals in the region of Paraná's capital, Curitiba, roughly 180 kilometers away. Imbituwa A city of about 30,000 people declared 2 days of official mourning following the accident, while the highway remained closed with no estimate for when it would reopen. Iran's armed forces on Wednesday warned Gulf countries against assisting the U.S. military. Chief of Iran's armed forces Ali Abdullahi said that any assistance or facilitation provided to the U.S. military amounts to participation in the U.S. military operation. The warning comes as the USS George Washington aircraft carrier is being redeployed to the Middle East to relieve the USS Abraham Lincoln following reports of deteriorating living conditions for its crew. Abdullahi said it seems unlikely that such a large number of military aircraft, particularly refueling aircraft, could be present at regional bases without knowledge of those countries. They stated that the countries bordering the Persian Gulf, which have issued various statements saying they would not allow the United States to use their territory against Iran, should know that his country is fully aware of the actual situation on the ground. The war between Iran and the United States broke out on February 28 after U.S.-Israeli attacks on the Islamic Republic, which retaliated with missiles and drone strikes, including on U.S. bases across the region. Former Ukrainian Defense Minister Mikhail Fedorov has called for wartime elections in what is widely seen as the biggest challenge to Volodymyr Zelensky's presidency since Russia's full-scale invasion 4.5 years ago. The 30-year-old Fedorov said in a video posted to YouTube that democracy cannot be held hostage by Russia, adding that Ukraine is fighting precisely because it wants to remain a free European state. Fedorov, who did not mention Zelensky by name in the video, was unexpectedly fired from his role as defense minister last month, just 6 months after his appointment. Zelensky is yet to respond to the video from Fedorov, whose dismissal sparked protests across the country. During his tenure as a highly popular defense minister, Fedorov was credited with energizing the ministry, heading a drive against corruption, and using data to analyze and try to improve performance on the front line. Since the war broke out in 2022, Ukraine has been under martial law, which means elections are suspended. U.S. President Donald Trump says he will delay imposing new tariffs on a wide array of Canadian goods for 3 days as two countries firm up a trade deal. The announcement came less than 2 hours before a 50% levy on nearly $20 billion of Canadian imports was set to go in place. The two sides have been at an impasse on several issues, including U.S. tariffs on automobiles and many Canadian provinces banning American vehicle sales. Trump and Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney spoke twice this week, and trade negotiators have been engaged in intense talks since July after the U.S. president threatened the new levy with a deadline of 19 August. The extension is welcomed news for Canadian negotiators and for businesses on both sides of the border, who have warned that the new tariffs would be harmful to both countries. South Korea and the United States on Wednesday. South Korea and the United States said on Wednesday that they will cut short the annual joint military drills to 5 days from 11 and scale back some field training. The change in the drills comes as Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi visits South Korea for regional security talks expected to cover development on the Korean Peninsula. South Korea's Chief of Staff and Pentagonal officials said that the All-Chief Freedom Shield exercise, which began on August 17, will now run through August 21 instead of the original end date of August 27. South Korean Defense Minister An Guyabak said the allies were moving to cancel the drill's second phase and that it had been expected to involve counter-attack operations after an initial defensive phase. The JCS said that the countries agreed on partial adjustment to the duration and scope of the drills at the suggestion of the United States, and that some combined field maneuver training would also be scaled back. The changes follow Trump's order on Sunday to substantially reduce the U.S. role in the drills, citing its very good relationship with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. The United Arab Emirates Defense Ministry says it had detected 2 ballistic missiles launched from Iran, the first such incident reported since a May 4 strike on the Florida report. In a statement issued after the missile threat, the UAE said it has suspended all trade activities, commercial exchanges, and financial transactions with Iran until further notice, citing an escalation that it said undermined regional and international peace and security. The missile launched comes as a 60-day window for U.S.-Iranian peace talks expired on Monday without a breakthrough, raising fears of a new escalation in the conflict that has disrupted shipping through the Strait of Hormuz since February. The UAE's Interior Ministry sent a phone alert earlier on Tuesday to residents stating that the situation was safe and people should resume normal activities after an early alert warning of a missile threat. Iran's Revolutionary Guards have previously threatened action against vessels transiting the strait if they are linked to Tehran's adversaries or fail to comply with Iranian directives. That's the news. I am Christopher Lele. Thanks for watching.
Tired of the snow? Tired of the bad TV signals? Nigeria has gone digital. Introducing Free TV, the national platform for every Nigerian. Get 100 plus channels immediately. Sports, news, and entertainment in your native language. All with clear picture quality. Whether you're in the city or the village, our satellite signal reaches every corner of 36 states from day one. No monthly subscription, just a compatible decoder and you are set. It's a national asset built for you. Take the show on the road, download the Free TV app and stream your favorite channels anywhere. Starting this May, scan to download the app or call 0700 388 7277. Free TV, digital TV for free. Brought to you by NBC.
Health is more than a diagnosis. It's your lifestyle, your choices, and your future. Join us on Inside Health, your weekly deep dive into the stories, science, and solutions shaping your well-being. From expert interviews to real-life journeys of healing and hope, we cover it all.
One of the complications of cancer management or treatment is they have some of them, at one point in time, you see them having anemia. Okay, so you see them at times being transfused. But at the same time, you come in with a diet.
Nutrition, mental health, innovations in medicine, fitness, and everyday wellness. Whether you're managing a condition, staying informed, or just living your best life, Inside Health is your trusted guide.
I'm Tigiti Agorom, and I'll be with you every week on Inside Health, only on Signature TV.
Signature TV, news in your pocket. Signature TV, news in your pocket.
Well, I believe that people must be able to recognize opportunities that don't come with a paycheck. And I think a lot of young people
I
don't.
like that. That's the shaking moment. People must be able to recognize
opportunities that don't come with a paycheck. Yeah.
My guest today is one of the voices of Lagos. He's a host who has done every program on Beat FM Lagos and is presently its youngest director of programs ever. We talk about his battles with depression and attempts at suicide. And if I'm correct, open about even at either attempting or wanting to take your own life. Yeah, about thrice.
Yeah, tried it. And
you really tried to take it?
Yeah, right. Then somebody walked in. That's why for the longest, I don't know how to live by myself. I've always had like a friend over or something because I went to boarding school. I'm always around people. And when you're by yourself, it's almost like you're stripped naked and you confront everything you're not trying to confront. And they say the people that are mostly depressed are often the people that look very happy on the outside.
That time, his friend Toke Makinwa came through for him, and why he always comes through for her.
I've known Toke for almost 11 years.
Yeah. It's a powerful story of her paying you when you were being old or something.
So when I started working at the Beat, I had to open an account with either GTB or Access. So I'd not opened the GTB account. So they paid me in cash.
Right.
So a friend of mine was having a party and it was 70,000 naira. I had it in my pocket.
Right.
Then I used to have a school bag then. Then I was like, they couldn't allow me to take it. It was like a lounge type thing. And I couldn't take the bag into the lounge. I had to drop it there. I was so fucking naive. So I put the money in the bag.
Yes.
I went. By the time I came out, I stood in everything. And I was like, how was I going to survive this month?
The rest of the month.
So cried to Toke. Oh yeah, she scolded me and she gave me back the money.
How he thinks that being owed salary for 2 years was one of the most important milestones in his life.
I didn't get paid a dime for 2 years. Yeah, I don't hold it. I'm not bitter about it. I'm thankful for the experience, thankful for the opportunity to actually, I just wanted a foot in the door, to be honest.
And if he's truly happy.
Yes. The happiest I've been.
Right. Why? What's making you happy?
Happiness is not a state of mind. Happiness is a journey. Happiness is no place. So I don't define my happiness by what I have. I believe that we should not hinge our happiness on material stuff.
O.C. Suave, or as they used to call him, Cinderella Man with Chude today.
Come for me.
Right, great to meet you. We've never met.
No,
never met.
Never. Yeah.
You're coming down now.
I've
Twitter.
always,
no.
Okay, let me just say I was just very expressive. That's
Yeah.
all. Then people see as a, I'm not calm or something.
No, in real life, I've heard that you're a calm guy.
Oh,
That's
yes,
not. I'm not talking about real life. I'm talking about the Twitter energy. Was it deliberate, or did something that kind of evolve to be that vocal?
I've always been like that, though. For people that don't know me, a lot of people would always say, I'm a handful.
Right.
So, and I express myself better when I write. I won't say it's an outlet, so it's just I just see Twitter as a way of communicating pretty much. So I just say what comes to my mind, and
Right.
I think a lot of people try to play safe. I just go with it, pretty much. Yeah.
When you talk like a writer.
Yeah.
Oh, you've been told that. Yeah, you know that.
Yeah.
Right. So, why wasn't it writing that you went into? Why was it radio?
I used to write a lot when I was in secondary school. We used to have like a magazine thing.
Okay.
Yeah, so it used to be called the Olumo Pipes.
Olumo
Yeah, I
Pipes.
went to Nigerian Navy Secondary School at Belkota, so
Right.
yeah. So I used to write a bunch of them for that. Okay, my mom did communication and language arts, so I think for a first degree. So I think, that's also spurred me into, writing and all, and all of that. So I just found that I better express myself by writing. So I would say I'm in my head a lot of times. So, and I don't do things that I can't visualize
Right.
or I can't picture in my head. And the best way for me to express them is for me to be able to, just write them down. So even till today, I still write. They're tied up in my office. We're trying to go paperless, but I would always want to just write down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the few honest personalities, especially radio, who is known. The people know your brand, know your name, know your face, which is not an easy thing to pull off.
Yeah.
And you started doing that before people started bringing cameras into the
Yes,
the studio.
Yeah.
Was that deliberate?
It was more or less the time I got on the radio. I got on the radio where people were, you know, when social media was booming. You know, at that time when, you know, after the likes of IK and Shola Thompson and, you know, all those people.
Yeah.
So I think it was, you know, hand in glove, more or less. It was going to happen anyway. So, like I said before, there's nothing I've done that I set out to be popular or anything. I just want to be the best at what I'm trying to do, you know, every time. So I guess because of how I did radio, that was different from quite a lot of people. Then people just found a way to just seek me out. So even till today, when people meet me and say stuff like, "Oh, I'm a huge fan," or "I listen to you on the radio," I still do not know how to react to it. I just say thank you, because it's me just trying to be better at my job every day.
Where does Cinderella Man come from?
Funny story. If I tell you where it came from, you will never believe it.
Okay.
There's a song by Eminem called Cinderella Man. And and I listened to it one day and I was like, oh yeah, sure, why not? Then for the longest time, it was my Twitter name. It was my so a lot of people say Cinderella Man. So I just got tired of it. So yeah, so that's where it came from.
Right.
Then there was a movie also by Russell Crowe, Cinderella Man as well. So it's basically a grass to grace kind of story.
Right.
The same with Cinderella anyway. So pretty much that's it. Yeah.
Right. So the Suave is gone, it's just OC now?
No, it's OC Suave.
Suave,
Actually,
right.
yeah.
Where did that one come from?
I used to run a magazine in school in University of Benin.
Right.
So I used to write the entire thing.
Okay.
From I was editor in chief from everything, do all the interviews and all of that. So I think it was a way to identify me in a way. So a lot of people used to call me the OC Suave. So OC, the guy that did Suave magazine. So it just kind of stuck.
Right,
so, yeah.
right.
Yeah.
I just thought it would work as you moved.
Yeah. But on radio, I never called myself OC Suave. It was OC I used to call myself. So it was my Twitter handle. OC Suave. I was like, yeah, sure, let's go with it.
I know that you were doing radio in uni before you graduated. So at what point did you figure out that radio was going to be the thing you were going to do?
I wanted to be a lot of things when I was growing up. I grew up near the airport, that's in Ikeja. So when I was a kid, I used to see a lot of planes fly by.
Yes. So you grew up in Lagos?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Alitalia, you know, all those planes and everything. So I wanted to be an aeronautic engineer when I was growing up because it sounded fancy. You know, then my dad would support me. Then from aeronautic engineering, I was fascinated by computers too when I was growing up. So I remember I came second. Coca-Cola did like a National Children's Convention. Shouts to Livia Jordan of blessed memory. I was on the Sunday show.
Oh really? You were on the Sunday show? I was on the Sunday show.
Yeah, I was on the Sunday show. I remember those old programs, Fortran, COBOL, you know, back in the day. I won a scholarship to Japan. My parents thought I was too young to leave all by myself, you know.
Right.
I just found out that I was always very expressive in a way. Then I loved music, you know, growing up. So 50 Cent had just dropped an album. This was, let me say, 2003, 2002-ish. And back then, you know, I couldn't afford the CD. It was expensive. So I was trying to listen on the radio. So what I'd do is I'd just move from station to station and try to see what station was playing it.
Yeah.
So I stumbled on rhythm.
Yeah.
So I grew up listening to rhythm because my mom used to listen to 7 o'clock news on rhythm. So she would say, put it on rhythm, you know, at 7 a.m. She wanted to, used to be Jacob Akemi Johnson. I used to read the news. Yeah, at 7. So I just listened to rhythm. Then there was a guy that was on the radio. His name he used to be Cyrus the Varistep. He's Demola Sadiq. And he just caught my attention. Right. And I was like, okay. The first thing that came to my mind was, I could do what this guy is doing.
Right.
And he played the song, and I recorded it on my mom's tape. And I was like, oh, next week I'll listen again. And I didn't know it was a daily show. And that's how I got into listening to the radio. So I only used to listen to the dance party then. Then from there, I started listening to all the shows.
Right.
Then I just started getting into the radio because I feel like one of the best ways to be an OAP is to actually listen to the radio, hear what people are doing, and try to see how you can be able to craft, you know, what you want to do after what these people are doing as well. So that's how I got to meet IK. And I was like 17, 18 when I first met him. And I was like, oh, this is what I wanted to do and everything. And he gave me one of the best advices, you know, ever. And he was like, yeah, they'd give you a job. You're talented. He said that. But he was like, you need to go to school. Then, that's when, you know, went to school. And, the rest is history. So, much so.
I mean, you've told the story several times, but how did Beat FM happen then?
Stroke of luck, to be honest. So I went to uni and... first time I got into uni, I got admission to UniBen, and first thing I did when I got there was to ask if they had any radio stations there. And they were like, there were 2. There was EBS that was owned by the state, and there was ITV, which was privately owned by Dig Benedict. So I went to ITV.
Right.
I got a job on the spot because my demo was fire. I was coming from Lagos, you know. And the guy was like, hey, bring your timetable. Let's see if we can be able to figure out something. Well, I didn't just go back because I felt like I didn't like the way it was set up, and I felt like I could be doing a lot more. Then in my second year, Rhythm opened in Benin.
Right.
And I went for the auditions and I wasn't picked. Yeah. I was better than, I'm not trying to brag or anything, but I was better than all the presenters that he picked. But in my mind, I was just like, why? Well, funny thing is, I'm a firm believer in, no matter how crooked the part is, the destination is always mapped out. The late Big Time, that's Onome, came to Benin to train presenters and see what they were doing and everything. And he was like, okay, there's this show they used to train presenters in Lagos. It was called Sold Out. He told the producer there to start it. It was Saturdays. 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. Then they were like, okay, was I interested in doing it? But they won't pay. I was like, yeah, sure. So it was pre-recorded, 3 hours, the entire thing. So I'd go on Fridays. It was on Nova Road. I didn't have enough money to, always take the bus. So I'd walk through Osasoge, down to Edigbe and do the same thing when I was going back and everything. And I did that for 2 years, from my 200 level to my final year.
Right.
And at the same time, doing a full-time degree in Uniben. Graduated with a 2-1. Yeah, top 5 in my class,
Right.
and everything. But I didn't get paid a dime for 2 years. Yeah, I'm not bitter about it. I'm thankful for the experience, thankful for the opportunity to actually, I just wanted a foot in the door, to be honest.
Yeah.
And then I came to Lagos. I was in NYC camp. I was on the OBS thing, and my mom had a friend at Airtel at the time. And says, oh, they like the way I sound, and they wanted me in their corporate comms, at the time. So I didn't want to go to Airtel. So there was, I served in 2011. So there was this flood in Lagos at the time.
Right.
It rained heavily. There was that everywhere was flooded. So I found a way to leave camp. Came all the way, called Big Time and says, oh, I'm in Lagos now, I'd love to serve at Rhythm. They were at Jacody at the time. And begged the HR, she's late now, and Aisha for like a request letter. And they told me that, they were paying 10K. I was like, yeah, I'll take it. And took it back to camp, and camp posted me, to Rhythm. And that's how I got into Rhythm. So I was pretty much an NYC core member. I used to speak on, almost all the shows and everything. And Bimi sent a bunch of CDs to Rhythm. He had Praise, he had, she used to run Speaker Box at the time.
Right.
So she had a bunch of clients that she used to do like promotions for and everything.
And
So
she was already on radio.
she was at Beat. She was acting programs director at Beat at the time.
Right.
So I called her up and said, oh yeah, we've gotten your CDs, we're playing the music. Yeah, Then, she added me on BBM. Then from time to time, hey, hi, I'm just checking in. Then one day, I don't know what pushed me to say, sorry, are you guys hiring? It was almost like 3 months to the end of my NYC program.
Right.
I always would want better. I didn't want to stay at Rhythm at the time. Beat FM was what was in. It was still what is in. So she said they were hiring for the overnight. I was like, oh yeah, I'll take it.
Right.
And can I come for an audition? So I took a bike from Jackonde all the way to Ikoyi. Then Koch, did my audition.
Right.
I was nervous. I think I spoke too fast. Then a week after, they called me for an interview, which was weird. And I missed the call. I didn't pick my phone.
Right.
And the person that was calling me now knew a friend of mine and says, I've been trying to call OC. If you reach out to him, tell him to, reach out. Yeah, I did, and my first salary at B was 80K. It's a lot of money there.
That was a lot of money then.
Yeah.
And a massive improvement.
Yeah, I still had my service NYC obligations to Rhythm.
Right.
And they understood. So I was working overnights at Beat. Then during the week, I still had to just show up at Rhythm. And, they're cool about it and everything. That they'll tell me how fantastic I was doing, at Beat. And I couldn't speak on the radio anymore. So you just found a way to just do that. I was on the overnight show. I hated it.
Why?
Because that was when the industry was booming and all the parties were happening. So on Friday nights, I was on the radio from 6 a.m.
Right.
On Saturdays, I was on the radio from 2 to 6 a.m. On Sundays, I was on the radio from midnight to 6 a.m. I just hated it, but I found a way to make it work. I didn't do the Love Doctor thing. I'd play all the fast songs. I'd say all the wrong shit. I pushed the envelope every time. So then that was when trending on Twitter was a thing.
Right.
And my show started to trend. And people started to pay attention. I remember for the longest time, my MD did not even know who I was. Then one day he came upstairs and he said, there's a guy on the overnight. Then he said, you're the guy on the overnight. I said, yes. Then he shook me. I was like, you're doing such a great job. I was like, oh, okay. He's paid attention and everything. Okay. During the week, I found myself, with so much time on my hands. So I'd always be available to cover any show because I desperately wanted to get on day radio. So whenever anybody was on leave, I'd go meet the presenter and say, oh, please, when you're on leave, put my name. I want to cover your show and everything, and also I was on the overnight radio for like 5 years. And I just kept at it, knowing that I'd get an opportunity and I'd get a shot. So I didn't in any way downplay anything I was doing or reduce the quality of the show. Oreka left, and a girl called Ada was hired. So Ada didn't spend too much time with us. Ada left. So it was Olisa, Koch, and Maria. They were doing the show at the time. Then Koch left. Then I was in the club with Olisa and everything. And he says, oh, come and join me on the morning show on Monday. And that was it.
Really?
Yeah. So I've been on the morning show since 2016.
Yeah.
Like I said, I set out, I just wanted to be on the radio. So I'm currently programs director.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that.
Not just for Beat Lagos. I'm running the station in 4 markets in Nigeria. So,
right.
Yeah.
Was it a long wait to do 5 years, even after the boss has noticed you?
I just feel like for radio, the thing is, you can't really move up except there's a gap.
There's a gap, yeah.
Or there's a space for you.
Or you kill somebody.
Or I kill somebody. My own thing is, at the time when I was doing the overnights, I didn't even know what next, you understand? All I just knew was, okay, I was at the biggest urban radio station in Nigeria.
Yeah.
And, I had an opportunity of doing a combined, say, 15 hours of radio every week. I was just content just being on radio.
Right.
You understand? So for me, I wouldn't say I wasn't ambitious in any way, but I just tried to always, like I said, when we started this interview, I always try to apply myself and be the best at whatever it is I'm doing.
Yeah.
So then I think I'm the only presenter on Beat FM that's done every show on every belt.
Really?
Yeah.
Right. That's good, isn't it?
Well,
it's in your new role.
I was always looking for who was going on leave and saying, hi, I'll cover your show. Right. So pretty much that.
So you wanted to do
I just wanted to do it, yeah.
The thing you mentioned about working for 2 years without being paid, of course, Gen Z is not having it.
Yeah.
Is that a good thing?
Well, I believe that people must be able to recognize opportunities that don't come with a paycheck. And I think a lot of young people don't.
I like that. That's the shaking moment. People must be able to
recognize opportunities that don't come with a paycheck. Yeah. What's it called right now? A lot of young people don't get it. A lot of young people believe that if they're applying themselves or putting in work, they should get paid, which I agree with. But at the same time, there's valuable experience that you can't even quantify with money. Or there's no amount of money that's going to be able to take away from the experience that you're gaining. So for me, I'll do anything to have a foot in the room. I'll do anything to be able to have an opportunity. Because I believe that I know how to apply myself. I'm talented. I'm a creative. So all I just want is, I'm always prepared for anything. So all I just want is an opportunity. So once I get a foot in the door, I just use the hand to hold the window so it doesn't shut and everything. So pretty much that.
That makes sense. I mean, I envy you because one of the things that I've always wanted to do that I didn't end up doing was radio.
Oh, yeah.
And now I can't do it, because my hands are full.
I know.
And I'm like, oh my God, this is how my life is passing. This is how my life is passing me by. I'm not going to do this thing. Because I think that there's something truly magical. When I do interviews, radio interviews would just feel more than TV. It felt more real, more authentic. It will always feel that way.
Yeah, on days, I've contemplated quitting a lot of times.
Right.
But, when I get to the office and put on the mic, I just remind myself what I'm doing there.
Yeah.
It's different. It's almost like an extension of myself. You just wake me up from bed and I can do it. I was on a trip to South Africa once and I was listening to radio. I listen to the radio any city I go into.
Right.
And I fell asleep in the car. We're in like a tour bus and everything. And the next day the lady was like, you're weird. I was like, why? She says, I was falling asleep and I was talking in my sleep and I was saying stuff like, oh, you're listening to the beat lights. It was embarrassing.
Yeah.
But,
your bosses is like that.
Yeah?
Your bosses will like that.
Yeah, so for me, I would say radio is not all I know, but radio completes me in a way. It's effortless for me. I love doing it. I love being on the radio. It's almost like commensalism in a way. We take from each other. It helps me grow. I help you grow too as well. So yeah.
Why did you constantly think of quitting?
There's some days that, it's not jigging anymore.
Right.
Where you feel like, because, one thing about we human beings, we always try to benchmark our lives with, what our peers are doing. And you look at your peers in other sectors and in your mind, you'll be like, maybe why not I try that? Or or there are some times whereby the stress is too much, and the entertainment industry can be a lot sometimes, your mental health and everything. So you might just want to take a step back and just try to just reevaluate or anything. But every time I step into the office, I just get a reminder as regards to why I'm doing this in the first place. So,
I want to ask about the thing you just mentioned before that. Do you think that media people are paid well enough?
Well, I don't think so. I don't think they are. When we compare ourselves to our counterparts, in other parts of the world, it still boils down to any power of the media outfits in question, because heck, 98% of the money is from adverts, ad revenue, and everything. So ideally, radio presenters are supposed to, or TV personalities are supposed to share in that ad revenue, but it's not what we have here. So I think, there are a lot of people that get paid well. And in the industry, in the industry, and I still believe that the pay can be a lot better. Because when journalists or TV or radio people are paid well, it's easier to be able to do your job without any form of bias or being compromised in any way. So I say that every time.
So why isn't it happening? Is it because many media platforms companies are not making money?
Well, that's one. That's one. Many media platforms are not really making that money. Then two, we have horrible people running these organizations. Then three, like everything in this country, people don't just want to do the right thing. So
What qualifies a person as horrible in that case?
Well, not understanding what media ethics are, owning a media outfit because you're a politician and it's just for propaganda, or because you're a friend to somebody, you got a license. So you don't know, the A to Z, or as regards how to run a proper media outfit. That's all. Then, people that does use it for status or anything. So at the end of the day, to start to tell on the day-to-day running, the place and how you treat your staff, and generally how the entire outfit is being run.
You've been noted to be one of the, if not the youngest, director of programs.
Yeah, we get director of programs at 34.
Right. Yeah. Things have really changed in the country.
So
was that intimidating?
For me, yes, because the first programs director for Beats was just programs director for Lagos. Right. And as soon as we expanded, in the market, we started adding more radio stations. The scope of that, because we had to replicate the success of Lagos across other brands in the markets. The scope of that job now started to include other radio stations that we had in the market, as well. So for me, running Lagos is hard enough already. Then adding Ibadan, Abuja, and Port Harcourt, the emails, the meetings, all the follow-ups and everything. So it's just a lot of responsibility, and you also have to, live up to these responsibilities.
You mentioned earlier talking about things being tough for mental health. You've been very open about your struggles, with mental health. You've been open about dealing with depression. And if I'm correct, you've been open about even either attempting or wanting to take your own life. About thrice.
First time secondary school, I used to be very good in biology, which was weird. Because I was an art student. So when I used to draw the heart, I used to have, left ventricle, everything. My animal cell used to have mitochondria and everything. So we had an exam, and for some funny reason, I wrote on the question paper and gave it to somebody. And I got caught, and the entire paper was cancelled. I was so distraught because one of my best subjects. And, as a kid, not really knowing how to deal with that, and the disappointment, and going to go and face your family and everything. So tried it, and
you really tried to take it.
Right. Then somebody walked in. Then I had to be let. My school had told me to go home. Then my parents didn't even know how to deal with it. But it was dealt with. Then the other time was, I think, the reality of the pressure of the industry, how it can detach you from reality. So I think it just and how you can be in your head a lot and everything. So
Final question, are you happy?
Yes. The happiest I've been.
Right. Why? What's making you happy?
Happiness is not a state of mind. Happiness is a journey. Happiness is no place. So I don't define my happiness by what I have. I can tell people that I can have 20 million today and I can be broke tomorrow. It doesn't define my happiness. So happiness is my journey. And as I go through life every day, I must constantly make sure I'm doing things that will make me happy. Meaning, I love Formula 1, I watch Formula 1. I love hanging out with my friends, I hang out with my friends. I want to buy ice cream, I buy ice cream. I want to yell at a driver that is driving, that that wants to probably rear-end my car. I yell at a driver, I feel good about it and everything. So I believe that we should not hinge our happiness on material stuff, Then I tell people a lot of times that I'm scared of success because it's a prison.
Right.
Because once you say, like when I got on the radio, all I wanted to do, was to get on the radio. And when you get on the radio, what next? So that's why we must dream new dreams. That's why we must reinvent ourselves. That's why we must always constantly find ways to, to just keep evolving. So, like I said, I'm the happiest I've been. I have friends, I have family, I have me, I have my mindsets. And, every day I would wake up in the morning and choose me and say, okay, I'll just go out there and just make the most of it. So, yeah.
Thank you very much for joining me today. Thank you.
New every morning on Signature TV. We all green the day for you with needed energy, information, and required vibes to shape your day. From sizzling snippets of stories in various areas of life to intriguing conversations with net worth guests.
When you have people who have no track record becoming your leaders, you have a problem. There's no outstanding gratuity when Obi took over from me. I left in all the accounts of Anambra State 13.8 billion for him.
Your day cannot be complete without Signature Morning on weekdays and Signature New Day on weekends. There is no better way to start your day except Signature Morning and Signature New Day every day on Signature TV.
Signature TV, news in your pocket.
Why the main market is in chaos. People are...
We are national.
Those in support of this motion as amended, say aye. Aye.
We have taken the vote by default.
We are international.
Israeli airstrikes. Donald Trump left us the worst unemployment.
Signature TV, news in your pocket.
every second, every minute, every day. News is breaking, events occur, and there are new developments. At Signature TV, we follow these stories objectively, bringing all sides without bias, explaining the complex issues, breaking down the numbers, and investigating the issues behind the news. Anywhere and everywhere, near or far, wherever the news is, we will be there. Signature TV. News in your pocket.
Good morning. It's a beautiful Thursday morning here in Signature TV, and this is Signature Morning Show. We are about to start to give you our normal dose for the day. My name is Dr. Ginger Ibename, always here to ginger the show, and I'm here in the studio with
Christopher Lele, Mark Ginger.
Yeah.
How are you doing this morning?
I'm good. It's Thursday. It's almost Friday.
Yeah, it's almost Friday. I'm already feeling like it's Friday. Yeah.
We now have this culture of weekends.
Weekends, right?
Everything binging in the weekends. The booze, the food, and
the food is very important. I'm not boiling or warming anything. don't go there.
Yeah, I wonder how, the way you love food.
Yeah.
The way you ritualize food. You're still skinny. Where is it going into?
Well, it's passion. It's not just the media career I have passion for.
In agriculture, somebody must have 4 chambers stomach. Are you sure? You are not such.
All right, we'll be right back just after this short break to take a look at the stories making the round on the national dailies. Please don't go nowhere.
You don't tire for this picture. Or I make you follow Unorodo. Nigeria don't go digital with free TV. Over 100 channels they with you. Sport, news, and better entertainment for your own language. No matter where you dey, whether for city or whether for village, the satellite signal can reach every corner of Nigeria from day one. No monthly payment again. Once you get Ogbonge free to air decoder, you don't win. This one, not our own national asset. Even from your phone, you feel watch out. Just download the free TV app and carry your TV go anywhere you dey go. Scan that code now or call 0700 388 7277. Free TV, digital TV for free. Brought to you by MBC.
All right, we are going to start this morning with the newspaper review as usual. And the first newspaper I have here is The Guardian. And in The Guardian this morning we have state spending faces scrutiny over 15.8 trillion windfall citizens' welfare. 2027, Nigeria risks revenge of the poor over worsening hardship with Tommy Wongs. 9.5 trillion salary bill, fake targets ghost workers, payroll fraud. 2027, look beyond campaign slogans, Obi challenges Nigerians. Tinubu orders security overhaul amid concerns over policing, gun violence. Pre-election anxiety, profit taking, wipe 5 trillion from NGX after 60 trillion peak. And El Rufai's bid to transfer trial fails as Kaduna CJ backs Justice Kobo. Military pensioners storm defense ministry to protest 12 months arrears. You know, this last headline is a little bit troubling to me. You know, imagine serving the country, risking your life. I mean, no sacrifice higher than, you know, serving in the military. Especially in these troubling times in Nigeria, that you have a lot of, you know, insecurity issues all over the country.
Yeah.
And then someone, you know, sacrifices everything. And remember that over the years that you are working as a military, your social life is practically grounded. You don't even have time to interact with any other person. Your life revolves around the barracks and your workstation. And then at the end of serving the country, you will be subjected to this kind of dehumanizing situation. You know, perennial poor salary, you know, payments and all that is been an issue in the country. But the military,
right? I like the fact that you're asking the military. My own major concern is that, if not that we are Nigerians and we want to believe we have integrity, in some places, these people, once you treat them like this, they turn out to become the terrorists, branded terrorists. You know, they know the nooks and crannies. They will come for you and then they will fight you.
I mean, nothing says that some of the terrorists are not also
part of one-time military or something. Yes, because this is where most of the challenges come from. Because what they'll start to say is that we served our country, we watch it in movies all the time, and this is it playing before us. We serve our countries, we risked our lives. Right. Some of them even have one of their arms to be cut out. One thing or the other will happen to them in the process of serving that beloved nation, only for them to be treated this way. And these people have the blueprint of the security narratives of the country. They know the different areas that they can go to and what to do and how to do to get what they want. And these people are not being paid. Tell me why they will not be used by the devil, so to speak, to actually do to their biddings and get what they want. These are the kind of people that can turn out to work hand in hand with bandits and the likes, and get weapons for them.
There are times when I wonder what news could shock us again in this country. I mean, what can actually cause an outrage, a proper national outrage? Because we have seen every kind of bizarre. I mean, it's numbing. Nobody. Oh my God! Military pensioners and they are rioting.
Do they have to? Like, do they even? Does it have to get to this point? Because these people they've sacrificed a lot.
The irony is the bumper provisions for the upkeep of politicians. That one is never targeted. I mean, bad as the bad, politicians must work.
Of course.
It has always got to be the essential, personnel in Nigeria that suffer, this kind of ignominy. And it is painful. And here we have Tinubu orders security overhaul amid concerns over policing, gun violence. You know, the man of God, Prophet Adeboye, recently, made statements about this issue of security overhaul. He said something remarkable in that video. Number one, he's saying that people are targeting him
saying that he's not doing enough to pressure the presidency to do the right thing, especially as concerns security. I remember that the PR department of his church also came out to, make a bold statement concerning, the targeting of the man of God. But, the targeting stems from the fact that this was a man that was very vociferous during the previous regimes. And this time around, maybe because this is his kinsman or somebody that is there to him. Of course, we know the wife of the presidency is I think a dean or a pastor in the ministry. Yeah. And now he's perceived as not, doing enough to present the presidency. But however, in that video, he said, and I quote, that, if the security is not improving under the current, security chiefs, that there ought to be an overhaul. He was very, very plain about it. Even though he said that, the president is the commander-in-chief, and you cannot command the commander-in-chief. However, you can lend your advice. And he made his advice. Maybe the president is finally heeding his advice. So calling him to speak out more makes sense. Don't you think so, man?
Of course. People have to be accountable and say it the right way. You don't have to use friendship you've had with someone to cloud what people can see is happening in the nation. Yes. So I don't think there's anything wrong in calling him out. Another story that got to me here is Mangu massacre. Northern senators reject condolences, demand action. Even if now you no go reject.
Well,
keep your condolences to yourself. Stop telling me the country is with you in this time where this is so painful. We don't need all of those things.
Let me shock you. This Mangu is a community in Jos.
No, in Plateau actually.
In Plateau,
yes.
Yeah, Mangu is actually like 2 minutes from Jos, main city. And this community has been perpetually, come under the attacks of the herdsmen. It's like every day. And the problem there is that they come in, massacre people in the community, and there is a military checkpoint just nearby. There is a military station just nearby. So these people come in, massacre people in the community, and move out. The community people will rally, try to maybe respond. The military will come in and block them. So the violence have been, it has been recurring. It has been recurring, and the pattern is so suspicious.
It's alarming and very troubling that 26 people would be killed on a spot.
For a city that has suffered bombing. Remember that the metropolitan market was bombed around 2003-2004. There have been 2 bombings in Jos, amidst other massacres that go on within the city center. We're talking about less than 5 kilometers from the government house. And all they get are condolences. And these people are now saying that, you know what? Take action. Keep it.
Who needs it?
When you come to give condolences over mass graves without really doing anything. I think maybe we should go to the next paper. Mr. Lay, what do you have for the next paper?
Yeah. This is really painful. I just don't like. But then the next paper here is the Daily Sun. On the Daily Sun, 2027 polls, security threats dwarf peace accord. Right here says over 2,500 security incidents in 14 months cast doubt on elections. Another story here says police arrest mastermind of Mango attack, hunt fleeing suspects. Gun battle in Osogbo. Gunmen attack Adeleke's convoy. Security operatives repel attack at Ataoja's palace. Davido, incident not connected with us. Okay. 2027, Naji, no threat to Mba's re-election in Enugu. Naman is speaking there. Federal government to channel unremitted pension EFCC recoveries to education sector. Senate grills NFF NSC over poor performance of Nigerian football teams holds emergency meeting with DICO. So you can find that on page 8 of the Daily Sun newspaper. Sanwo-Olu gives 20 million naira cash gift each to LASU's best graduating students. Tinubu orders 5-year national security threat assessment defense plan. Okay, these are the stories on the Daily Sun, and this very one caught my attention. Sanwo-Olu gives 20 million naira cash gift each to LASU's best graduating students. It's really been a long time that we see education or those in the academics. Yes, giving that attention. You see the likes of BBN. You see whooping some thrown at it.
The best bots.
Yes, one thing. The best
dancer.
You say bot?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know how that sounds. Don't distract me. You say a couple of things.
Irrelevant, mundane things.
And I've always wondered, when you see competitions and different competitions in schools, poetic and the likes, essays and what have you, you see 100,000 naira given to these people. You see 20,000 naira given to them.
I remember the year that the BBN gave, the Big Brother Nigeria gave out 150,000 USD to the winner, and a lot of gift items pouring in from different companies, corporations, and Nigerians, even private citizens are donating money for people that were on, in the BBN. But that same year, the best graduating student in UNN got 10,000 naira check. And there was an outrage in a section of the populace. So it shows where our priority lies, both the government, the corporations, and even us as Nigerians. We major in the minors and minor in the majors. So it's gratifying to see that a state government is doling out 20 million, because 20 million could go a long way to pay for the postgraduate studies of these young people, and this is something that should be sustained.
And the students, the junior students that are saying this, junior colleagues will tell, they see that indeed hard work pays.
That's the reward in excellence.
Yes, and they'll sit up. They may not maybe be expecting money, but they'll see that when you work hard,
you will be recognized. You will be recognized.
Imagine recognition too is also another part of it. Very important.
So I think it's a kudos to Sanwo-Olu. This is a news. This is a cheering news, and this all the security wahala. This is the video issue. Gone battle in Oshogbo.
We are going to look into that conversation.
Yeah, but it's
itching you.
No, man, you read it out in the newspapers.
Of course, it
is. The video, gone battle, Oshogbo attacks. These are not good languages.
Yes.
Well, the video is still there to us, and the role he played in the Osun State election is something that have been subjected to a lot of literature work.
And that's what I'm saying. This video's conversation, we will just sit down. We will sit down, dissect because we have a lot of angles.
We'll write a book on the video.
Let's look at the next newspaper.
Oh yeah, Vanguard here, and it says accolades for Vanguard. Uncle Sam as ex-staff launch book reunite plan media library. IBB to Uncle Sam, you're a nation builder, custodian of our collective conscience. That's good coming from a former dictator there. Nigeria targets 3 million BPP, 15 billion USD investment, 215 TCF gas reserves, federal government. FEC approves forensic audit to identify fake agencies, ghost employees. Allocations can't guarantee prosperity for states. Oyedele says government saved 15.8 trillion from subsidy removal. They've come again. Note, wage bill exceeded subsidy savings. Account for 30 trillion subsidy windfall. Now, I think we challenge this Tinubu. That's a good one coming from the opposition. Tinubu appoints Ebel Enitan as head of HOCSF. Hoodlum shoot at a delicate convoy in Oshogbo. When they begin to use this word hoodlum, they try to minimize because hoodlums don't just shoot at the convoy of a convoy.
There's actually a story behind it.
Yeah,
I can see how itchy you are to just have this conversation.
I'm sure we'll be discussing it, but not the headlines, of course. But calling this should be tagged as a terrorist attack.
I don't think it should be tagged as a terrorist attack.
Attacking a convoy.
It's actually a hoodlum. If you know the story behind it, I think hoodlum sits well for me.
Oh, okay. Hoodlums attacking governor's convoy. Okay. You have but allocations can guarantee prosperity for states. Which story are you?
Yes, this FEC approves forensic audit to identify fake agencies, ghost employees.
This is something one should check ordinarily. I mean, calling for forensic audit, but we've been there, we've done that. We keep coming back to the same thing. It's like going around in cycles. To start with, I think it was the government of Goodluck Ebele Jonathan that implemented or introduced the IPPIS system and the single treasury accounting system. It was under the ministership of Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala as the then finance minister and the coordinating minister of the economy. These things were supposed to streamline government, revenues and the funding channels to avoid depletions, accounting, and also to plug the leakages. And we are seeing that, the instruments that were supposed to be used to block leakages are now weaponized to, institute leakages. And beyond that, the government's seriousness in ensuring probity over this infrastructure. Because, forensic audit is now being called. We have the EFCC that has oversight function of monitoring, government financing. We have the DSS, we have the security, the police, we have the ICPC, and other, monitoring and financial security agencies who are apparently not doing enough of their job. But the EFCC was quick to rush to Oshogbo to block the state accounts, just probably trying to cash into the frenzy, maybe to impress the presidency that they are really working for him. So, to me, the forensic audit is a welcome development. This should not be something that will be delayed until such a time it becomes a breaking news. It should be something that should happen regularly, every other time or sporadically, so that these leakages would be blocked in real terms, or at least minimized to the barest minimum. So it's worrisome to me that in this era of digital technology, for instance, IPPIS is purely digital. I mean, it's not just a payment portal, but it has a full identification interface that should be able to weed out these ghost workers. Why is this still a problem in 2026?
I think corruption is just the major problem. It's just all about corruption, because if that can be looked into, even without the forensic, there are different means. I believe those days, these people know how to do these things. They know how to track. They know how to follow up. They know how to ascertain what is real and what is not real. So the ghost worker thing starts from bribing from one office to the other, and they have like a ring that they work with together to agree that these people are for me, just cover up for me. The people
starting from the CBN to the IPPIS, there is serious complicity of the people at the top. Let me tell you why. We're talking about digital technology here, and no payment happens outside the banking system, right? And the banking system has a unified identity, right? The BVN unifies your identity. So you can't own more than one bank account, right? It's the same BVN. So all your bank accounts are linked,
connected.
So your identity is also linked to your BVN, right? And your BVN in IPPS, you have to be employed because you need to have the serialized identity from the institution, the parent institution that employed you, and that is where you will be uploaded into the IPPIS with a BVN that is linked to a specific account that you provided on during the onboarding. So your full identity stems from your employment history to a specific institution. If these payments happen, there is no how that certain accounts would not be flagged as being rogue accounts. Somebody is looking away.
That's what I'm saying.
And
because they've already been paid to look
complicity.
away. Corruption we are talking about.
They are part of the syndicate.
But the thing is that even if we have these forensic audits, being part of the process right now, will corruption also allow you to work? There are so many things that are in place that with those institutions, those things being in place, we're not supposed to go through some of the challenges we experience, but corruption still makes it look like we don't have them in place. So it still boils back to implementation. What are the measures put in place to make sure that these things are really used? It's not just to be used on people or regions that you want to use them on. How about politicians?
We're not hearing prosecutions because if they really probe these things, it will go up to the top. Without the people at the top being complicit, some of these things cannot happen.
Well, it's not which day we hear from one of the institutions that 14 have been waiting discovered. What's the story now?
Nobody's
what are the people behind it? Publish names, take people to court, let there be justice. We can't see that. So why won't this thing continue? They will keep continuing because nothing is being done about it. Let's look at the next paper.
All right, the Daily Tribune, Nigerian Tribune here.
Okay, you are the one that took the last one.
Yeah, you could take the Punchy Punch or the Tribune.
Okay, so let me do Punch. The Punch newspaper. 30 months after subsidy removal, federal government spent 30.6 trillion naira, saves 15.8 trillion naira. All right, that's a good one. Minimum wage allowances swallowed subsidy savings. Finance minister speaking there. All right, away from that, president moves EFCC recoveries 242 billion naira unclaimed dividends to NEL fund. 2027 poll. 571 billion naira campaign spending limit for presidential governor candidates. Rogers says Tinubu, Atiku, Obi, Makinde, 15 presidential candidates allow 190 billion naira campaign spend. New Electoral Act sets 500 million naira ceiling on individual donations. INEC says it will monitor campaign spendings. 127 governor candidates get 381 billion naira campaign spending limit. Electoral advocacy bodies urge strict compliance. Tinubu orders further forensic probe into fake agency scandal. And the pension row, ex-servicemen suspend protest over defense minister assurance. Sanwo-Olu gifts 20 million naira each to LASU's best graduating students. Ondo man arrested for burying daughter over bed wetting. So, Ondo man arrested for burning daughter over bed wetting. Burning. Okay. Ocean Pole, Adeleke gets certificate, unveils 500 million naira victims fund. And why this got to me, not like really got to me, but just want to talk about this. It's not just giving out these 500 million naira to the victims, not just to our court party. These are any parties that are victim of this election circumstance, right? So I think it's a good one. People that were victim of whatever situation, sort them out and make sure they are well treated and taken care of. You know, it strengthens democracy, if you ask me. So people don't, back then you see people say, I can't die for Nigeria. You know, I won't die for APC, I won't die for PDP, I won't die for this. But if you know full well that, you know, you have some sort of guarantee or assurance of being taken care of, not you being a thug, That's not the angle. But you carrying out your franchise, doing the needful, and in the process, you're a victim of any circumstance, the government got you. It's encouraging. People will come out and do the needful, and because they know that should anything happen to them, it's more like an insurance. They have a backup somewhere to take care of them. I think this is a good one from Osun State Governor Adeleke regarding this very one. But another story that also got to me here is the statement from the government. 30 months after subsidy removal, federal government spends 30.6 trillion naira, saves 15.8 trillion naira, according to the minimum wage allowances swallowed subsidy savings. This is coming from the finance minister. You know, they've been attacking them lately, asking them to tell us what they've been doing with this money, account for this money. And if this is what the government is saying, that minimum wage and what again, and subsidy, minimum wage and allowances swallow subsidy savings, it seems that has already accounted for it.
Yeah, what were we paying?
Can we boast of it?
What were we paying minimum wage with before the subsidy service? Were we not paying
minimum wage?
Yes.
What were we paying it with?
Yeah.
As the federal government, I'm not.
Before you jump to, applaud that, because
I never applauded. Okay. I'm not saying I'm applauding. I'm not applauding.
I'm judging you.
I applauded the Osun State Governor. All right, so let's Mark Ginger take his cup of coffee and come back and really understand what is going on. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Yeah.
We are local.
International communities why the main market is in chaos. People.
We are national.
Those in support of this motion as amended, say aye. Aye.
We have taken the vote by default.
We are international.
Israeli airstrikes. Donald Trump left us the worst unemployment.
Signature TV, news in your pocket.
Back to the papers, to look at another paper, right?
Yeah, so we have here the Daily Trust, the newspaper you can trust. Yes, it said questions over 15.8 trillion subsidy savings. The benefits are nothing because the poverty index increased because people were paying more. Professor Ndubisi Wokoma. Beyond personalities, why ignoring Omar Suleiman's 143,216 votes is a threat to Nigeria. Bandits kill 7, abduct 17 in Sokoto. Wike orders car dealers to vacate parks, gardens. Mascos kick-off campaign for Tinubu in Abuja. Phantom Council. FEC approves forensic audit of MDAs.
Okay, so for the sake of time, we may not go through the stories. We have some other pending trending stories to look into. Yes, and excuse me, that's exactly what we'll be going through right now. The Osun State Police Command has disclosed that music star David Adeleke, popularly known as Davido, was the target of the attack that disrupted the convoy of Osun State Governor Ademola Adeleke in Osogbo on Wednesday. The incident occurred during the governor's visit to the palace of the Ataoja of Osogbo following his receipt of a certificate of return from the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. Now, there is a video circulating on social media where this attack was carried out. Let's take a look. Accompanied the governor to both the INEC office and the monarch's palace alongside members of his family. Speaking on the incident, the police public relations officer in Osun State, Abiondi Ojelabi, said preliminary findings indicated that suspected members of the Icon fraternity were allegedly attempting to reach Davido, an ex-convict popularly known as Small Rugged, a suspected notorious thug, and a member of Icon fraternity allegedly attempted to gain access to Davido, but was resisted by members of his security team. The ensuing confrontation reportedly attracted other suspected gang members in the vicinity, who temporarily blocked the entrance to the palace and obstructed the movement of the convoy of the governor. The police spokesperson said the violence claimed the life of a 60-year-old man, Tajuddin Yusuf, who was caught in the aftermath of the clash. Shortly afterwards, the suspected gang's members reportedly departed the vicinity, and however on their way, they allegedly shot Tajuddin Yusuf in Osogbo. Upon receiving the information, the police immediately mobilized a patrol team to the scene where the victim was found lying in a pool of blood. He was promptly rushed to the University Teaching Hospital Osogbo for medical attention. Unfortunately, he was pronounced dead by the doctors on duty. Ojelabi said detectives have launched an extensive investigation and are working to identify and arrest those responsible for the attack. The command has commenced a full-scale investigation into the incident and intensified efforts to identify, apprehend, and bring the fleeing suspects to justice. A sad one. We were thinking that after the jubilation and everything, we won't hear stories of this. Like we were
First
thinking,
of all,
everything will be
let me
resolved.
acknowledge your innocence. It's not. It's Eye. Eye is a confraternity that is popular in southwestern Nigeria, especially Osun, Lagos, and they gradually now becoming popular too in the southeastern part of it. So it's Eye. Eye is a bird that flies. So there are a lot of things that are not really making sense.
Not connecting.
Somehow. Before now, I didn't have the whole gist, and of course, you say that when I get the whole story, I will understand the justification of the hoodlum and all of it. But even the information from the police looks like an acceptance. I don't know the right semantics. Like it's not a big deal. I mean, these people later not flee, but actually left the place. I mean, they were disturbed. They registered their displeasure, and now they are walking away. However, this casual conversation, led to the death of at least one man and the maiming of another man, and the security breach to the extent that the governor's convoy was held to ransom over a period of time. It shows how far that we now accept, criminality in our system. I mean, why are we discussing cultists and, violent criminals so casually, as if, it sounds like it's the labor union that tried to see their governor and were disturbed, and they showed displeasure. They were stopped, and you see this a lot of times. The 1 million boys, the different kind of gangs, especially in the southwest, operating freely in the streets, and I suspect that these guys were involved in the election activities. And of course, the people who died, the 28 confirmed persons who could have been more, that died in the build-up of that election, that not the governor nor the president is talking about them. Nobody is seriously discussing, what led to the murder of these Nigerians. They didn't die. They were not shot by the police. I would have heard about it if it was the police. It was private actors. And here we have some people stepping forward, and police could identify them as members of AA confraternity. We know AA confraternity to be a very violent, group. They engage in cult clashes. They engage in street disturbances and other nefarious criminal activities. And I am worried about the tone of the police in describing this incident, especially referring to a already identified group. If the police know who they were, it means that police know them. If police know them, why are they operating freely to the extent of having the brazen audacity to come to the palace where they know the governor with his convoy were present? And not one of them died. Rather, private citizens. Was it them that shot them, or the police shot the private citizens? What was the police shooting at that ended up killing a man, an 60-year-old man, not one of the hoodlums, who now, according to the police, casually left the palace? So are we really serious about, security in this country? Because
I agree with what you're saying. I agree with you, because if you have been able to identify these people that caused this havoc, why have you not heard that they've been arrested and they are being questioned? Why have you not heard that in that very moment you went after them to get them and make sure that justice is carried out and solve this whole thing? These are just statements we come across, and we've not really had any concrete action carried out so far.
There is a collaboration. I want to find the appropriate word. There's an indirect collaboration of the states. By the state, I mean the government with these criminals. The complicity is stark because we treat them with kid's glove. Cultism is not a good thing. It destroys young people. It affects the community. It leads to recurrent violence and, of course, unnecessary loss of life, like we have seen in Oshobo. The government needs to be serious about fighting against this. It's no longer a delinquency, but this criminality. You cannot be dealing with cultists casually, especially when they have become so brazen that arms are involved. Because there's only one thing that arms achieve, that is loss of life. Treating them with this kind of kid's glove incentivized this kind of vice. The young people are looking. It's almost like, glorifying, idolizing cultists. They came to the palace when the governor was there. What is the relationship of the governor with the cultists? Or even Davido? Why did they want to see Davido as AA confraternity? Is Davido their member? What exactly? And Davido quickly said or tweeted that this news has nothing to do with my family. Is this him trying to dissociate himself? The police is saying that they tried to get access to Davido and were stopped by the security details. Get access to discuss what? AA confraternity. Getting access to.
No, just like you've mentioned, based on the let me put it, the hands they've got in the state, they feel they could use that leverage to have access to Davido. Davido is the man of the people. Davido is popular. People love him.
You are speaking for
and
Davido now.
They want to take advantage.
This investigation is not complete. They are not the only group
of course,
in the operating in that place. So Davido is not the man of AA people. If the AA people should be hiding, not having the audacity to go and see the video, unless there is something that is not open to the public. Even the way the police is narrating it, like they wanted to get us to do what? What kind of conversation do they want to have with Davido? In the palace where the governor is sitting, and they didn't see the video. something happened and somebody died and the other person was shot. What was it that happened? Who was shooting? Who shot who?
Well, according to the police, that are going to full-scale investigation to get all of this information.
But they already have the information that these people were AA people. They already know their mission. They already know who they came to look for. But however, they need full investigation to know who shot who.
Something like this happened in Onitsha, where we also had a police.
Yeah, that one is not AA. There were no courts.
No. This is not court.
So they did the full investigation. We already know. I mean, the account of the Onitsha incident is clear. Some people, police tried to arrest some people, and there was disturbance. And in the ensuing confusion, police shot 2 individuals.
Okay, so we have the clip of that. Let's take a look at it. We'll be right back.
We are local.
International communities where the main market is in chaos. People
We are national.
Those in support of this motion as amended say aye.
We have taken the vote by default.
We are international.
Israeli airstrikes. Donald Trump left us the worst on
Signature.
the police in there. The police in there. Nobody small boy. Onari abasi tiaga, suni aboka tiaga sao. Unu buya bana aboso, unna aboso ndiara. Ndiara okay, unna aboso.
Police people just shot someone at Obogu Junction. Now, Onitsha people, Obogu Junction at Onitsha, Onitsha people now got angry and blocked the road. The one going towards Asaba is not moving. You can see everywhere is blocked. The one going coming from Delta, coming towards Anambra, Onitsha, is not moving. Everywhere stand. Look at people. Look at people. People through at the road. No movement. No going forward. No going back. As you can see, this is the report. This is the report coming. You can see. Everywhere is blocked. No going front, no going back. Everybody is turning. Everybody is turning. Everybody is turning. Look at people in the market. People at the market. This is Obogu Bridge on it. Obogu Market Bridge on the Anambra State.
I na blog go the main load. I no go the road blog. Tell you why, Tell you why. Eh, I find the man na go ta. Yala go. I no load blog. It's too much. I no load blog. Nala mara we ngwa obuze egbe. Onye abuzo kidnapper. All the very bad. Justice for Obogu guy. Ebu ngwa ya pụọ. I'm on the police. Justice for Obogu guy.
are local.
International communities observing every
Why the main market is in chaos. People.
We are national.
Those in support of this motion as amended, say aye. Aye.
We have taken the vote by default.
We are international.
Israeli airstrikes. Donald Trump left us the worst unemployment.
Signature TV, news in your pocket.
Get plugged into the heartbeat of entertainment on The Hub, your ultimate show on e-vibes. From trending stories and social media drama to top charting music, must-watch movies and exciting moments from the world of arts, we've got it all. Join us for unmissable conversations with your favorite entertainment personalities, plus fun segments every week.
So I should try harder. So
Okay, I don't know that one.
outfit of the day.
Oh, I don't do that. That's some Gen Z stuff.
Oh, now you say it's a Gen Z stuff.
It's everything you love about entertainment, served fresh every week at 1 p.m. with weekend repeats just in case you missed it. The Hub's on e-vibes, where the vibes never stop. Only on Signature TV.
The Igbos would say, mama is aponama. So today we see a lot of imported cultures, and within our cosmology, within our worldview, those things are not in existence. I'm not saying we cannot, learn from other people and progressives, but it's not everything out there that should be learned. When you look at it, you evaluate it through the spectrum of your worldview, cosmology. If it aligns, fine, because the Igbos have one of their major characteristics. Njepo is sojourn. Across the world, there's this funny thing they always say: if you want to know a very habitable location across the world, there are three things you need to find at: the Catholic Church, and then the Igbo person. So anywhere you do not see these three identifiers, then that place is not habitable. But the Igbo, I don't know if you see the trend on social media now. So people identifying with their Igbo heritage, Igbo Taiwanese, Igbo Pakistanis, right? So Njepo means when you sojourn, you carry your whole essence, everything you have. That's where we go. They'll find Ndi Igbo in America Association. Then Ndi Igbo in America. So this is our attributes. And then when we're coming back, we bring all of the good we find in that location and bring it. That way, we are maintaining that balance, because one of the principal Igbo characteristics is balance. That is why we have this dual complementarity. If I put the bear, inwe nwoke, inwe nwanyị, inwe elu, inwe ala, inwe Nigeria, inwe America. So I mean, with that balance, the world is not tilted to one corner.
We are local.
International communities observing every
Why the main market is in chaos. People.
We are national.
Those in support of this motion as amended, say aye. Aye.
We have taken the bull by the horn.
We are international.
Israeli airstrikes. Donald Trump left us the worst unemployment.
Signature TV, news in your pocket.
You don't tire for this picture. Oh yeah, make you follow Unorodo. Nigeria don't go digital with free TV. Over 100 channels they with you. Sport, news, and better entertainment for your own language. No matter where you dey, whether for city or whether for village, the satellite signal they reach every corner of Nigeria from day one. No monthly payment again. Once you get to free to air decoder, you don't win. This one, now our own national asset. Even from your phone, you feel watch out. Just download the free TV app and carry your TV go anywhere you dey go. Scan that code now or call 0700 388 7277. Free TV, digital TV for free. Brought to you by MBC.
Health is more than a diagnosis. It's your lifestyle, your choices, and your future. Join us on Inside Health, your weekly deep dive into the stories, science, and solutions shaping your well-being. From expert interviews to real-life journeys of healing and hope, we cover it all.
One of the complications of cancer management or treatment is point in time. You see them having anemia. Okay, so you see them at times being transfused. But at the same time, you come in with a diet.
Nutrition, mental health, innovations in medicine, fitness, and everyday wellness. Whether you're managing a condition, staying informed, or just living your best life, Inside Health is your trusted guide.
I'm Signaturetv, and I'll be with you every week on Inside Health, only on Signature TV.
The way we see the world shapes the way we change it. Gender isn't just a checkbox, it's a lens. One that helps us understand the world more deeply and act more fairly. Gender Perspectives, a program for those ready to see more, do more, and be more. Designed to challenge assumptions, ignite conversations, and build inclusive solutions across every sector of society.
We are not, fighting the men. We are not saying we are equal in terms of rights. We're only asking they should recognize our existence.
Join us on Gender Perspectives, showing every Saturday by 4 p.m. Repeat every Wednesdays by 5 p.m. and Thursdays by 3 p.m. Change begins with perspective. Let's widen yours.
I think it's a good step. Number one, the older people grow, the more experience they have. Am I right? And the more you dwell, the more you dwell on a particular profession, the more expertise or skillful you become. So even 65 is okay, but if we can have people of 70 years that can still be brought back into service, that are active, I think is a good one. Because abroad, they employ old people that are skillful and are specialized in some field. So 65 is nice, but it could be better. I don't see anything wrong about it, because with my perception of that profession, doctor, I believe it's an experienced profession. Okay, so if I walk up to any of the hospital, could be private hospital, could be general hospital, and I felt the doctor attending to me is of age, I feel there should be an experience in him. Okay, because it's something that he has done for several years, practiced for several years. With that, I'll be able to have confidence in them. Like now, I had a fracture on my leg, so when I walk up to when I was amending my leg, and the younger doctor were coming around, but I wasn't having the confidence. But when the surgeon came in, I saw it's an elderly. I said, oh, for such an elderly person to be in this field, you operate my leg with, experience, and I had a very good confidence about that. So I think that is a good one. It's a good idea, because based on the unemployment I have, we have more youth that finishing their NYSC, there's not just lack of employment and the rest of it. If they increase the doctors, I have not gone against it fully, but they need to look at the other direction that is coming. So if they increase their retirement age, what provision the government make for the upcoming doctor that is coming? So is there any job for them, and all this we need to look at it. Yes, indeed. Nice. Because one of these days I saw something in YouTube. A doctor want to undergo some operation like that, and he was watching a YouTube tutorial before he undergo that kind of a thing. We are quite close to these. But if we can use that old brain, and if they have that that old knowledge that they can treat and get it right, I think it's better. It's better like that. I like it that way. Is that right? Yeah, it's okay. I'm supporting that. Very, very support. I have that full confidence that these old men will do better than the younger ones, because they are no longer studying. How can you go on YouTube before you undergo a process like that? I'm in support of that.
Every second, every minute, every day, news is breaking, events occur, and there are new developments. At Signature TV, we follow these stories objectively, bringing all sides without bias, explaining the complex issues, breaking down the numbers, and investigating the issues behind the news. Anywhere and everywhere, near or far, wherever the news is, we will be there. Signature TV. News in your pocket.
Restructuring of Nigeria, the Igbo nation stand. The Igbo restructuring argument is generally not simply about creating another state. It's about how Nigeria is governed. Stronger federating units, greater control over resources, fiscal responsibility, devolution of powers, state police, and a political structure in which regions/states can compete economically. The central question remains, can Nigeria achieve true federalism while so much political authority, security responsibility, and economic resources remain concentrated at the center? Joining us to discuss this today is a Professor Chinedu Abodike and Barrister Emeka Emekesri, who are currently attending a national conference on restructuring of Nigeria in Abuja. They will give us the outcomes of the conference and the position of the Igbo nation at the event. While we wait for them to join us via Zoom, it would be nice, to do a touch-up on this issue.
If you go outside the southeast, sometimes the mentality many people get is that the Igbos naturally feel marginalized. They feel like they don't get the attention, the attraction, and some of the development that other regions get. And I don't know, but in a way that seemed to be true, because when you go to other states, other regions, you see the development, you see the different structures put in place, you see the concentration from the government compared to this part of the world. You tend to want to reason alike and feel like it's also going the same direction.
No, well, that is just only part of the whole argument. The Igbo asking for any special treatment. They just want an egalitarian society where people can compete fairly. The Igbos feel strangulated in the system we are running today, whereby you cannot express yourself, you cannot go about developing your own state or your region at your own pace, at the speed and scope that you want to do it. And everybody is talking about physical federalism in Nigeria, but it gets suspicious each time the Igbos lend their voice to it. And I guess that is what is holding us back in Nigeria today, because where we are today in Nigeria, the kind of centralized government that we call federal government in Nigeria is holding a lot of states with great potential down. There's nothing wrong with healthy competition, but I think it's the war phobia that is causing the delay in actualizing this physical federalism we're talking about. Remember, after the war, the president then Gowon declared no victor, no vanquished, and Nigeria adopted 3 R's that talked about especially rehabilitation. Where are you going to rehabilitate? The war theater where the war happened, which was the southeast. But this part of it was greatly abandoned. If anything, rehabilitation happened in Lagos that never suffered any war devastation. The Igbos are not complaining. Even after all their funds in the banks were seized, that they got only a little amount. We started from the scratch after the war. By 1970, almost every Igbo man was a poor man. Around the same period, Nigeria nationalized the corporations, the BP, all the corporations that the colonial masters left behind were quickly nationalized within that same period. When the Igbos had nothing, they had no money to participate in that exercise. So we were practically forced to become the third tier citizens. But what did we do? We went back, started from the scratch, went into learning, trade. Through the one boy system, we started learning motor mechanics. From motor mechanics, we started going into auto parts, which contributed substantially to the leap in economic growth of the Igbo people. And gradually, we went into importation of auto spare parts. And with the boom of auto industry, with the oil boom, the business expanded, and the Igbos today have succeeded, probably more than any other ethnic group in Nigeria, in eradicating poverty down to the grassroots. So what we are talking about today is that let us go back to real federalism as it was before the war, where you had the 3 regions all being a part of the federation, but determining the future of its own unit. Recall that at that point, the southeast, the eastern region, as it were, was was said to be the fastest growing region in the world in terms of development. The rail system was working. You had the industrialization was going on. agricultural boom was happening, the government of the Eastern Nigeria was, attacking poverty and development from all prongs, and it was all uhuru until the war happened. Today we are saying, let us go back where the states can, take care of their own resources to a greater extent, their own security, the policies of development in their own enclave, either the states or the region. Whereas the federal government will let go most of the duties of government that have monopolized, so that the states can develop on their own pace. The Enugu state cannot be waiting for a KB state that has Sharia, and and the Enugu state does not have Sharia. Lagos state cannot be waiting for an Imo state that is not interested in building, maybe mega infrastructure. So fiscal federalism is what we have in all federal systems of government elsewhere in the world except Nigeria. I don't even know the name of the kind of government that we are running here. The Igbos just want a level playing ground for everybody.
Now, while we are talking about the federal government, let's bring it home. Let's talk about the Igbos themselves. Let's look at unity. Do they really have unity to stand as one and work together? Now, I could come from different angles. Let's look at it from political angle. Like now we have, so to speak, the Peter Obi, where many people would have said the Igbos entirely will support and stand for Obi, because finally they feel like their voice will be heard through someone that understands and sees where they're coming from. Someone that will represent them better as never before, so to speak. Remember what happened in Osun State, where after the governor got his return back certificate, as in the mandate to come back, he made a speech and he said he was going to vote Tinubu again because hold on a second. He was to vote Tinubu to come back because he is his brother. Do the average Igbo man have that same passion? Not looking at quality, not looking at anything. Do the average woman have that passion?
That will not be Igbo, and I would denounce that Igbo. People misunderstand who an Igbo man is.
Okay.
An Igbo man is not a tribalist. An Igbo man is not a sentimental creature. An Igbo man is a practical human being. He looks at results. Historically, when you look at the votes, Zik used to be the leader of the Igbo people, at least the new age Igbo. Zik played a greater role. When you look at the political trajectory in the late 1970s, the Igbos have started looking away. They started looking at elsewhere, voted Shagari as against Zik. Ojukwu, soon after coming back from exile, that he was received, pomp and pageantry. He went against a popular candidate, Jim Mobudu, and he failed his election in the name. The Igbo people we are not follow. We know they follow person because of say you are this or you are a brother or that, So when you look at the trajectory of our voting, when Chuba Kadibu was deputy to, was vice to Buhari, when they ran in the ANPP, the Igbo people voted against it. They voted overwhelmingly for a PDP that has no Igbo person on the ticket. The Igbo people voted for Yaradua. The Igbo people voted for Obasanjo. The Igbo people even with whoever on the ticket. It doesn't. If I not just Okaro or whoever that the Igbo people are not satisfied with comes on the ballot because it's an Igbo man, nobody will vote you. So we're not talking about that kind of thing. We're talking about having a fair environment for anybody who puts in effort to succeed. When you talk about peace, what is really peace? A peace that is founded on injustice is not a real peace. We cannot be peaceful just because somebody will be satisfied. Igbo people believe in a just and egalitarian society. We don't need peace. We need fairness. We need justice. We need equity. Not peace. Peace does not always guarantee justice. And injustice is against every cultural and traditional ethos of the Igbo man. So we don't need peace. What has peace? Okay, peace where? How does peace offer them development, the kind of peace you are talking about? Stability is what we need. And what brings about real peace is equality, is justice, is fairness, when everybody can participate in nation building in their own capacity. Peace means recognizing excellence. Peace means rewarding good hard work. Peace means being able to thrive as long as you are operating within the ambit of the law. Peace does not mean giving concession to a particular human being so that he will get more. You know, it was what led to the war. Igbo people were thriving in a Nigeria, an egalitarian Nigeria. We were in the railways. Igbos were the vice chancellors of most universities in the southwest and the north. Igbos were HODs of the department meritoriously. And some people now began to say that the Igbos are dominating. Igbos are dominating. We saw a northern leader at that point in time, in video, you can still see it in the internet, talking about the so-called Igbo domination. What he meant was the Igbo excellence. He meant Igbo, because Igbo didn't have any extra advantage. As a matter of fact, the colonial masters did not come to Igbo land first. Imagine if they had landed here first. They had already been in the riverine areas of the south and the southwest long before they came to. It took them more than 50 years before they came into the Igbo hinterland. But within the short period, I mean, the colonial presence in the south is become most prominent around between 1909 to 1920s, and at that time you had a largely illiterate population. More than 99% of the Igbo population had not, experienced school. But by 1930, the Igbo people have, caught up with the southwesterners and the south-southerners, and we already by 1940s and 1950s, the Igbos were already far ahead, and that was where the malice, instead of healthy competition, people became envious and began to attack the Igbo man as if he had any undue advantage. We don't have the advantage of population. And some people are saying that we don't even have any mineral resources. We are saying, okay, we don't have, but let's just have the liberty to develop our own place, to develop our security, to develop our resources, to build our own, enclave. That is what the Igbo man is. That is federalism. In the United States, that would like to mirror our democracy after. That is what then. Texas has a niche in some areas. California has a niche in their own area. New York has a niche. It is a federal system, and that is the color of democracy. Unitary government has set Nigeria back greatly. You see some states that could not even pay civil servants unless they go to the federal government to beg for money. And there are states being pampered. And look at it, even admission into the unity schools. And somebody coming from Southeast would need to score, say, 200 to get admission. Somebody coming from a state in the north just needs to make an attempt. Even if he scores 3 or 8, he gets admission. How is this equality? How is this justice? Is this the kind of peace we are talking about? So this conversation will continue to hurt Nigeria, and we cannot make any meaningful progress until we begin to look at the reality. The gifted child, the excellent child, the genius child has to be encouraged to be who he is. And the other child who is not as gifted, we just need to encourage the child to find his own niche. Nobody was created empty. The Igbo man wants the freedom to express his talent, to express his sagacity, to express his, zeal to make more. Some people think we are greedy. We are not criminals. Nothing wrong with being greedy if you are going to pursue your greed through legitimate means.
So I've always had this thought in mind. You remember the popular saying, Abba made? We say that a lot. Abba made, Abba made. Meanwhile, these people are doing things that, if they are given the attention needed, they could become the next China of Africa, the next China of, Africa. Yeah, Africa indeed. Why haven't the government, look into that direction to make sure that these supposed Abba-made guys that are good at making things that look like the original version, what can we do to improve on what they are doing? Is it to get some foreigners to come and they learn from them and perfect it, and the foreigners will leave and they take it from there?
No, it's not really entirely true that the government have not done anything. We're still talking about that centralization of everything. For instance, for the Abba guy to export his food, he needs to take it to Lagos. Okay, and the regulations about his export is being propagated by a government far away that does not have the feel of Abba, does not know where this Abba person is coming from. Now, the government of Fukuze Bazu marketed Abba outside of Nigeria. Today, you have a lot of Abba products being exported to the US. The time I was in the US, I noticed that most of the fabrics that Africans they are wearing, they come from, even some suits that are sold in the US, they came from Abba. What has not happened is to, give that brand the prestige that it deserves. Because today, I remember those days in the 80s when you talk about Taiwanese goods, it's supposed to be poorly manufactured goods. Remember in the 90s when we started talking about Chinese, but today China exposed to US, to Europe, to Africa. China has become a global, because they had the patience to carry that stigma of made in China. So, and today they are reaping the benefits of that patience. So Aba, and remember the issue of power supply. Power used to be the preserve of the federal government. With the centralization of power, energy, today you have the geometric energy in Aba that is powering Aba, and the manufacturing is increasing. To garnish the whole situation, the current governor of Abia State has gone into major infrastructure boost of the commercial industrial center in Aba. So the roads that were dilapidated beyond human usage and have now been rehabilitated, like the Port Harcourt Road, which was the nerve center of Aba. The Tenants Road, the Hank Road, what is it called, Akigwe Road, the Kent Road, the School Road, the Hospital Road, the Ehi Road, the Ngwa Road. These roads have been rehabilitated by the current governor. So Aba is picking up from where he was left by repeated, military and civilian regimes. And something, serious, something huge is happening in Aba as we speak. And like in Enugu State, you're also beginning to see flickers. Just yesterday, the other day, you and I, we went to several tourist spots that the current governor in Enugu is. This is what we're talking about, fiscal federalism. With more freedom for the states, every state will begin to cash into their own niche. No state is impoverished by default. It takes the ingenuity of survival, for every state to unlock their own potentials. So that's what we're talking about, fiscal federalism. And I think the Igbos are speaking the minds of every Nigerian. But the problem is that people are looking at who is talking about it. Each time we talk about fiscal, they think it's about Biafra. But personally, I do not think that Biafra as a concept, it still needed at this point in time. At the point it happened, because of the one-time violence that engulfed Nigeria at that time that targeted the Igbos, they had to move back to a place that was safe for them, a nation of their own. But today, the bigger the better. Nigeria is a big playing ground for the Igbo people. We cannot box ourselves up in a small enclave. We can produce here and move our goods and services to anywhere. But I buy into the ideology of the Nnamdi Azikiwe, who was saying a united Africa. We cannot be talking about united Africa where we are talking about a fragmented Nigeria. Nigeria is like a prototype, of what we desire or what we dream about for Africa. So the Biafra, like Ejuku said in the later days of his life, that is a spiritual concept. He's talking about the economic Biafra. We're talking about the mental Biafra, the ideological Biafra, and that is unification of the Igbo nation in terms of economic unification. And these days you cannot do it alone. We have balkanized the states. Yes, they can exist as states, but Enugu can take advantage of Aba's manufacturing. Aba can take advantage of Enugu's centrality in terms of airports and even source of coal for energy and the tourism potentials of Enugu. Somebody who wants to come and buy or sell in Aba could land in Enugu, experience the tourism here in Enugu, and transport with good roads to Aba or rail system that has linked Abia State through Imo State and Enugu State, and linking Aba through Owerri to Onitsha, and linking Onitsha through Awka to Enugu, and linking Enugu through Abakaliki to Ebonyi State. So this is the Biafra we are talking about, the economic Biafra. And the same way, there has to also be a security connection for all these states, so that because what touches the eyes touches the nose. Somebody who is living in Ebonyi State can cross the border, come into Enugu, commit a crime, and run back. So this is the kind of unification we are looking at.
For the sake of time, before we go on the break, let's look at the Southeast development. This initiative came up some time ago, and then we are yet to really hear anything. Are you seeing any of these commissions really playing roles, to integrate these states in this region?
I think that's why I'm happy with the creation of the Southeast Development Commission. Just a couple of months ago, they were in my community. They said we met with them and the stakeholders of the community, and they were talking about some agricultural projects. Before now, the state government was trying to get agro hubs in various local governments, and they had acquired lands, and these people now met the governor that they are talking about having some agricultural projects for the Southeast, and the governor just referred to some of those local governments that we already captured. They came to us and they are discussing about how to have industrial agriculture, including food production, food processing, food packaging. So the Southeast Development Commission, if they meet up with their mandate, will eventually unite the Southeast economically,
and things will move smoothly as it's supposed to be. Okay, that's a great one. Of course, we'll be going for a short break to come back with something else. Please do stay with us.
Every second, every minute, every day, news is breaking, events occur, and there are new developments. At Signature TV, we follow these stories objectively, bringing all sides without bias, explaining the complex issues, breaking down the numbers, and investigating the issues behind the news. Anywhere and everywhere, near or far, wherever the news is, we will be there. Signature TV. News in your pocket.
Okay, cervical cancer is a cancer of the lowest part of the womb, where we call the cervix, like the opening of the womb. In medical terms, we call it uterus. So the cervix is the mouth, the opening of the uterus. So the cervical cancer is a growth that cannot be contained. In other words, it's malignant. Yes, it can spread. That's the meaning. It does not stay in one place, so it can start from that place, from the mouth of the womb, and spread to other parts of the womb and go into other parts of the pelvic region, affect even the bladder. It can affect the stomach. It can go up and go to the chest, and typically malignant cells can even travel through the lymphatic system. In other words, it can get very far from where it started. So it is caused by what is called the human papillomavirus. There are the HPV for short. There are many strains of it, so many strains of it. In other words, many types of human papillomavirus. And this is a cancer, incidentally, this is a cancer that has a known organism that causes it, unlike many other cancers. So it is helpful in the sense that if there is an organism that is known to cause it, something can be done if that organism can be arrested. So in trying to prevent it, children at a certain age who have not had any sexual contact can receive a vaccine, the human papillomavirus vaccine, that will prevent if that organism comes into their body now, their antibodies will now fight it and they will not come down with the cancer. And it's not for adults who have been engaged in sexual activity. So talking about finding it out early, like in cancers, early detection is usually the best form of treatment. So we do certain things like pap smear. Something is taken from that portion in a female. And may I just say something before I get to that? It affects only females, but males can also harbor that virus. Yes, males can harbor the papillomavirus, the human papillomavirus. Males can harbor it in their body, but they will not suffer from it because they don't have a cervix, they don't have a womb, but they can transmit it effectively to as many women as possible. Yes, and that is why one of the ways of preventing it is not having multiple sexual partners, maintaining a good sexual life, then doing the preventive, which is going for screening for pap smear in designated places like the University of Nigeria Teaching Hospital or cancer centers by the Medical Women Association of the ENUGU State. I think they also do that, and some other private institutions do that. So the treatment for that, if detected early, the womb that place can be removed. That is surgery. A radiotherapy can be done. Chemotherapy using drugs to kill the cancer cells can be done. If it hasn't advanced much, that's why early detection is very important. So generally, the awareness that should be created is for parents to know that their girl child can receive the vaccine and have that cancer prevented, because if I'm not wrong, it's about the second most lethal cancer. It kills, in statistics, it is after breast cancer. That is next, after breast cancer.
Signaturetv, news in your pocket.
All right, welcome back to Signature TV Morning Show. So, yesterday there was an incident in Onitsha. A man or two were reportedly shot while there was a confrontation between the police and the citizens there in Onitsha. We have an eyewitness, Mr. Chidera Wabweze Anthony, who was there, and he's going to tell us what's happened there in Onitsha. Chidera, are you there? Okay, how are you this morning?
I'm fine.
Okay, we understand that something happened in Onitsha yesterday that led to the shooting, late shooting of one or two men. Can you confirm what it was that happened?
And the actual thing is that with the people that been involved, we do have problem with the police. Once we pack any kind of goods, whether registered or not registered, they will arouse you and intimidate us. So we do fight with them mostly. We have to be there. At times we also sort it out and we go without negotiation. But yesterday so it was unexpected thing that happened. The guy I must confess that next thing that the guy had an outlaw. Or there are bad type of so me the doctor as we normally do that I will again on Friday. We refuse. The guy refused. So now at that spot, at the argument, the policeman shot the guy at his leg. Then at the shotgun, some echo everyone that is around. Everyone that is around. And everyone at the process we get our first information that the guy was later dead. But thank God in the after that survived shot. So the news, the first alert at media, everyone in the market, so start the market and you understand what I mean?
Yes.
So that's why the process is because of the process. Okay, now, at the measure, at the process of the process, the policemen first looking at us with the civilians. No, without they started shooting at us. Then while on the process of the shooting, reckless shooting, it was eager that two extra guys, two extra people were shot. A lady and a guy, they are shot yesterday. So before the Nigerian Army force arrived, because witnessed the shooting and the tear gas they are even throwing at us. Why should the Nigerian police force tear gas on us? That's one thing. Why should Nigerian police force tear at the civilians?
But Chidera, can you confirm that nobody died in the incident, or were there any casualties?
Nobody, I can confirm that nobody is dead. By special grace of God, nobody is dead. But now, the shooting is what that angers me. Why they shoot why do they have to shoot at the civilians? Why the civilians don't have any weapon at them? The civilians, they are using attacks.
Alright, you know, the police will toe the line of saying that there were fake drugs or stuff like that. Do you have a union or a system of checkmating that fake drugs do not come into Obogu market?
I can, on my own side, I can say fake drugs do not come into Obogu. If there is fake drugs, the union of the market will know that it's fake drugs and they'll fight against it.
So is there no like a police advice security of policemen that are familiar with the plans in the market? These police that do this, do they come from outside or from around the place?
The police that normally stop the Obogu here, the people that around, okay, let's say Tege police station, Bridget police station, Obogu police station, and CPS, these CPS people are the one that we normally say that they can fly over, okay, they can fly over.
Okay, so this kind of incident, how often does it happen?
It happens every day. Stopping us, fighting every goods we have. Both the good ones and not the good ones.
So do you think, what do you think is the reason why they are doing this? Is it that they are doing their actual job or is just to exploit the traders?
I cannot even explain that, but to me, I will say they are not doing their actual job. Because most of them know the drugs they are packing, but the uniform they are putting on to intimidate us with the civilians that are selling drugs. They are using the uniform they are using as a police officer to intimidate drugs. That is the part. That is what I'm seeing there, because they are not doing the actual job they are supposed to be doing.
So what is the mood in Onitsha this morning, in Obogu this morning? Has calmness returned or are the people still restive?
The thing here is that everybody still angry because of the shooting yesterday. Everyone is still angry because of the shooting yesterday.
Is the market open for business today?
Yeah, the market is open.
Has the state government reacted in any way or communicated with the leadership of the market, assure the people that the government is doing the needful to make sure that this does not continue?
I have not yet confirmed, because I have not yet from the market union this morning.
So, but the market union, did they address the traders? Did they call any kind of meeting? What have they been doing to make sure that the business don't get out of hand?
According to their previous address, they said they are working towards that to stop it. They are working towards that, but I believe that this protest will make it a final stop.
Thank you so much, Mr. Nwabweze Chidera Anthony from Onitsha there, telling us about the incident that happened in Onitsha. Thank goodness no life was lost, according to the eyewitness. He said that even though there was shooting of about 3 persons, but he can confirm that as at this moment, no mortality has been reported. Thank you so much, Mr. Chidera.
Thank you.
All right, finally we got news I could call good news from Onitsha, because at least no life was lost, because it has become very common in Nigeria now in this kind of situation, like the Oshobo incident. Lives will be lost meaninglessly, but at least in Onitsha, we are happy to say that according to the eyewitness,
no recorded
deaths
in that situation. Okay, so we have a conversation we're supposed to go right into, but we go on a short break. We'll come back, we'll look into that.
Signature TV, news in your pocket.
You don't tire for this picture. Oh yeah, make you follow Unorodo. Nigeria don't go digital with free TV. Over 100 channels they wait you. Sport, news, and better entertainment for your own language. No matter where you dey, whether for city or whether for village, the satellite signal they reach every corner of Nigeria from day one. No monthly payment again. Once you get Ogbonge free to air decoder, you don't win. This one, now our own national asset. Even from your phone, you feel watch out. Just download the free TV app and carry your TV go anywhere you dey go. Scan that code now or call 0700-388-7277. Free TV, digital TV for free. Brought to you by MBC.
We are local.
International communities observing why the main market is in chaos. People
We are national.
Those in support of this motion as amended, say aye. Aye.
We have taken the bill by default.
We are international.
Israeli airstrikes. Donald Trump left us the worst unemployment.
Signature TV, news in your pocket.
Thanks for staying with us. We go straight to the conversation we have this morning. We're looking at restructuring of Nigeria, the Igbo nation stand. And with us to do justice to that is our guest, Professor Signaturetv Agbodige. He is exotic thinker, researcher, writer, public affairs analyst. He'll be helping us to understand what this looks like. He's currently attending a national conference on restructuring of Nigeria in Abuja. He will give us the outcome of the conference and also the position of Igbo nationwide at the event. Hello, Professor. Good morning and welcome to Signature Morning. Professor, are you there? All right, we seem to be having a network challenge with the professor. Please stay with us as we get this sorted out.
We are local.
International communities observing why the main market is in chaos. People
We are national.
Those in support of this motion as amended, say aye. Aye.
We have taken the vote by default.
We are international.
Israeli airstrikes.
Donald Trump left us the worst unemployment.
Signature TV, news in your pocket.
All right, thanks for staying with us and welcome once again to Signature Morning. And before we jump off, permit me to use that. There are things I'd like to look into. On the Nigerian Tribune, one of the stories here that got to me that we didn't look at initially was Tinubu approves EFCC recovered loot on claimed dividends for student loans. According to the writer here, as FEC approves 170 billion naira for National Library, 15.8 trillion naira fuel subsidy savings shared among federal government, states, local governments, finance minister says reform saved Nigeria from economic crisis. But my major concern here is Tinubu approves EFCC recovered loot and asks them to send the money to NEL fund, which is not bad, that look into students' loan and the rest. But we still have the likes of ASU still complaining about not being taken care of its welfare and staff of lecturers. Just recently we talked about ASU, how they complained that the pact they had with the federal government since 2009 has not been improved or worked on. That's what they're still working with, the salary structure of 2009. And we have 21st century 2006 approaching 2026 rather, approaching 2027. Now, if we have funds like this that can be diverted to different sectors to manage situations, why didn't we have this idea long ago to look at different sectors that are being malnourished and tackled, especially the likes of education? Of course, NEL fund is education, but how about the welfare of the people taking the students out there, the future of tomorrow? If they are not in a good shape, how can they concentrate to teach well and bring out the best from the students?
Yes, we're talking about education. We also need to resist the temptation to model up the discussion, because when we do that, some will be ignored because none is less important than the others. Of course. Issue of NEL fund, education financing, funding, especially for the students, has been a major challenge. And I must give it to the federal government that this is one of the things that they got right, thinking about supporting students to fund their education, because that will also make funds available for most this institution. I believe that education financing is still a major challenge to us here in Nigeria, and we must find innovative ways and diverse ways to fund the education other than just the government. And that's what happens in other parts of the world. I think Nigeria is in a good position to export education and, garner a lot of, resources from, international students. If we, can just put our acts together, Nigeria can market this and export education. Nigeria can, after all, when you go around so many countries, we see Nigerian scholars, featuring as lecturers in the education sector of those countries. So we don't have a terrible education system per se. At least we have the raw talent. Nigerian professionals are doing well globally. I've been to Gambia, I've been to Sierra Leone, I've been to Ghana, I've been to Bissau, I've been to so many countries in Africa here, and South Africa and the rest of it. And I see a lot of Nigerian professionals, featuring prominently, even in the UK and the US, of course. We have Nigerians as professors in various, Ivy League universities in America and even the UK. So we can market education, and that will help to bring in funding. So many nations are cashing into this. India, recently, China, talking about the European countries, Netherlands and all that, talking about, of course, the US and the UK. These are, nations that export education. They export knowledge. Knowledge is a commodity that you can transact with. You can buy it, you can sell it. So we need to really be innovative about education funding, because government alone, seeing how resource poor, we are, cannot fit it. So talking about NEL fund, channeling this fund into, but it's not sustainable unless we are going to create a window where people will continue to loot or embezzle money. Then the money will be recovered and the money will go to education, knowing fully well that in transit this money will not arrive intact. You understand? So it is not a sustainable way to fund it, but the thoughts is what impresses me, but not the actual act, because that is not sustainable. So I dare say that we have to look at what other countries that are, cashing into the education economy, what they are doing differently to sustain education. In Harvard, in some other schools that I know, I was at Harvard University for a program, and I noticed that most of their programs are funded by their alma mater. They have an alma mater system that have become prestigious, that people compete to donate, to invest in the education sector. And I think it's in the ENUGU University Teaching Hospital. I noticed some kind of partnership. The CMD there became very innovative when when he was still getting appropriate funding from the federal government. He got the permission of the Ministry of Health and began to partner with private citizens who invested in different aspects. Today, you have a majestic institution. They have a brand new teaching hospital that can compete globally, and that's an effort of private public partnership initiative. So education is one area that people, you can see that the consumption is huge. Nigeria has close to 100 universities and higher institutions of learning today. In ENUGU here, within the city alone, we have about 7. Just in our backyard here, you have Godfrey Okoye, and Godfrey Okoye is one of those universities that has succeeded, in education financing. I did a program, the postgraduate program in mass communication, and I was surprised on how cheap and affordable the cost was, even when it was very standard. And the quality of education they were giving out, was very impressive. I didn't expect that. So there must be something they are doing. I think they use grants, international grants, local donations, and alma mater system to fund the education. It's not a very big university, but they are doing well for their capacity.
Even for Nigeria to even think of doing something like that, there are so many things you put in place. I think another means that these foreign universities sustain on is having international students to come school with them.
Yes.
That money alone will also sustain
that's
them.
exactly what I'm talking about.
How can that be possible for a country like Nigeria when insecurity is bedeviling us? Their facilities are not even advanced, let alone having the facility in the first place.
No, it's not completely not advanced. I think we just need to retouch, because right now education is also moving away from ABCD 1 to 3 towards digital technology. You understand? Because skills needed to thrive in the world of today has changed remarkably, and it's changing very fast. So when you go to universities like Godfrey Okoye, they are beginning to introduce courses like mechatronic, robotic engineering, stuff like that, things you didn't used to hear. Those days is about civil engineering, electrical and electronics, material and production engineering.
Greater office. What's that? That management.
So but people are moving away to start looking at the digital economy. Looking at even social media management has become a thing. So that it's just for us to change the curriculum. Look at the curriculum. The education sector, the education platforms, schools need to become more creative so that they will attract students. And this government should now concentrate in providing the enabling environments like the security you're talking about. And that takes us back to the fiscal federalism that we tried to discuss earlier. If Abia State is able to provide security for themselves, ENUGU State is able to provide security for themselves. Somebody who wants to school in APSU can land in ENUGU and safely move to APSU. You understand? That is secured, and they obtain the kind of education, the kind of knowledge that they desire. They will come in their numbers. So it's just government is distracted by taking up a lot of things that should not be the sole business of the government.
So this conversation, we can't end it in a day. Maybe we'll have to visit it some other time. But this is how far we go on this morning's show right here in our ENUGU studios. Ginger.
Well, dear viewers, please follow us online and always connect with us. Every morning we are right here to provide you with rich information and conversations that touch the soul. And I remain Dr. Ginger Ibeneme. I will be here to ginger the show.
God willing, tomorrow we'll have him here. And of course, you know how it is. Tomorrow, 8 a.m., we'll start the morning program and get to learn one or two. If you had missed out on any of our content, any of our conversations, you can feel free to check us out on YouTube and join the conversations and get to learn more about what we discussed today and every other day. My name is Christopher Lele. Good morning.
Tired of the snow? Tired of the bad TV signals? Nigeria has gone digital. Introducing Free TV, the national platform for every Nigerian. Get 100 plus channels immediately. Sports, news, and entertainment in your native language. All with clear picture quality. Whether you're in the city or the village, our satellite signal reaches every corner of 36 states from day one. No monthly subscription, just a compatible decoder and you are set. It's a national asset built for you. Take the show on the road, download the Free TV app and stream your favorite channels anywhere. Starting this May, scan to download the app or call 0700 388 7277. Free TV, digital TV for free. Brought to you by NBC.
Health is more than a diagnosis. It's your lifestyle, your choices, and your future. Join us on Inside Health, your weekly deep dive into the stories, science, and solutions shaping your well-being. From expert interviews to real-life journeys of healing and hope, we cover it all.
One of the complications of cancer management or treatment is they have some of them at one point in time, you see them having anemia. Okay, so you see them at times being transfused. But at the same time, you come in with a diet.
Nutrition, mental health, innovations in medicine, fitness, and everyday wellness. Whether you're managing a condition, staying informed, or just living your best life, Inside Health is your trusted guide.
I'm Signaturetv, and I'll be with you every week on Inside Health, only on Signaturetv.
Signature TV, news in your pocket. Signature TV, news in your pocket.
Well, I believe that people must be able to recognize opportunities that don't come with a paycheck. And I think a lot of young people
I
don't.
like that. That's the shaking moment. People must be able to recognize
opportunities that don't come with a paycheck. Yeah.
My guest today is one of the voices of Lagos. He's a host who has done every program on Beat FM Lagos and is presently its youngest director of programs ever. We talk about his battles with depression and attempts at suicide. And if I'm correct, open about even at either attempting or wanting to take your own life. Yeah, about thrice.
Yeah, tried it. And
you really tried to take it?
Yeah, right. Then somebody walked in. That's why for the longest, I don't know how to live by myself. I've always had like a friend over or something because I went to boarding school. I'm always around people. And when you're by yourself, it's almost like you're stripped naked and you confront everything you're not trying to confront. And they say the people that are mostly depressed are often the people that look very happy on the outside.
That time, his friend Toke Makinwa came through for him, and why he always comes through for her.
I've known Toke for almost 11 years.
Yeah. There's a powerful story of her paying you when you were being old or something.
So when I started working at the Beat, I had to open an account with either GTB or Access. So I'd not opened the GTB account. So they paid me in cash.
Right.
So a friend of mine was having a party and it was 70,000 naira. I had it in my pockets.
Right.
Then I used to have a school bag then. Then I was like, they couldn't allow me to take it. It was like a lounge type thing. And I couldn't take the bag into the lounge. I had to drop it there. I was so fucking naive. So I put the money in the bag.
Yes.
I went. By the time I came out, I stood in everything. And I was like, how was I going to survive this month?
The rest of the month.
So cried to Toke. Oh yeah, she scolded me and she gave me back the money.
How he thinks that being owed salary for 2 years was one of the most important milestones in his life.
I didn't get paid a dime for 2 years. Yeah, I don't hold it. I'm not bitter about it. I'm thankful for the experience, thankful for the opportunity to actually, I just wanted a foot in the door, to be honest.
And if he's truly happy.
Yes. The happiest I've been.
Right. Why? What's making you happy?
Happiness is not a state of mind. Happiness is a journey. Happiness is no place. So I don't define my happiness by what I have. I believe that we should not hinge our happiness on material stuff.
OC Suave, or as they used to call him, Cinderella Man with Chude today.
Come for me.
Right, great to meet you. We've never met.
No,
never met.
Never. Yeah.
You're coming down now. on
I've
Twitter.
always,
Twitter, no.
Okay, let me just say I was just very expressive. That's
Yeah.
all. Then people see as a, I'm not calm or something.
No, in real life, I've heard that you're a calm guy.
Oh,
That's
yes,
not, I'm not talking about real life. I'm talking about the Twitter energy. Was it deliberate or did it something that kind of evolved to be that vocal?
I've always been like that, though. For people that don't know me, a lot of people would always say, I'm a handful.
Right.
So I express myself better when I write. I won't say it's an outlet, so it's just for. I just see Twitter as a way of communicating, pretty much. So I just say what comes to my mind, and
Right.
I think a lot of people try to play safe.
Mhm.
I just go with it,
Yeah.
pretty much. Yeah.
when you talk like a writer.
Yeah.
Oh, you've been told that, yeah, you know that.
Yeah.
Right. So what wasn't it writing that you went into? What was it radio?
I used to write a lot when I was in secondary school. We used to have like a magazine thing.
Okay.
Yeah, so it used to be called the Olumo Pipes. Yeah, I went to Nigerian Navy Secondary School at Belkuta, so
Right.
yeah. So I used to write a bunch of them for that. Okay, my mom did communication and language arts, so I think for a first degree. So I think, that's also spurred me into, writing and all, and all of that. So I just found that I better express myself by writing. So I would say I'm in my head a lot of times. So, and I don't do things that I can't visualize or I can't picture in my head. And the best way for me to express them is for me to be able to, just write them down. So even till today, I still write. They're tired of me in my office. We're trying to go paperless, but I would always want to just write down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the few honest personalities, especially radio, who is known. Let people know your brand, know your name, know your face, which is not an easy thing to pull off.
Yeah.
And you started doing that before people started bringing cameras into the
the
studio.
Yeah.
Was that deliberate?
It was more or less the time I got on the radio. I got on the radio where people were, when social media was booming. At that time when, after the likes of IK and Shola Thompson and, all those people.
Yeah.
So I think it was, hand in glove, more or less. It was going to happen anyway. So like I said before, there's nothing I've done that I set out to be popular or anything. I just want to be the best at what I'm trying to do, every time. So I guess because of how I did radio that was different from quite a lot of people, then people just found a way to just seek me out. So even till today, when people meet me and say stuff like, "Oh, I'm a huge fan," or "I listen to you on the radio," I still do not know how to react to it. I just say thank you because it's me just trying to be better at my job every day.
Where does Cinderella Man come from?
Funny story. If I tell you where it came from, you will never believe it.
Okay.
There's a song by Eminem called Cinderella Man, and I